It's time for the voice.
Don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
I want you to get up right now.
Go to the window,
Open it.
stick your head out and yell.
Hated man! Top of the world!
The voice of Ocala with Buddy Martin.
You know I don't speak Spanish. In English, please.
Look in my eyes, what do you see? The cult of personality. I know your anger, I know your dreams. I've been anything you wanna be. Oh, I'm the
Good Wednesday afternoon. This is the voice of Ocala in a overcast, cloudy Ocala, Florida, right here in Marion County, at the food court in front of the Paddock Mall, at the palatial studios of WOCA. Buddy Martin will join us in about 30 minutes. He is over at College of Central Florida talking to Professor Rob Marino's class, looking for the next J.J. LaSalva. If you remember,
he's actually just teaching them about interviewing people.
Right, but JJ, this is the class we poached you and Hunter Turner from, is it not?
I believe so.
This was the class where we got JJ LaSalva and turned him into the star he is still not today.
Exactly.
Although you did host your first show Saturday, and I went back and listened to it.
Genius.
You did a very good job. Pretty good job, except for the 96.7.
I don't care about that.
But, that's the only mistake you make. You do pretty good.
Yeah, I'm straight.
Sounded like you had quite a bit prepared.
I didn't have enough time, Tom.
No, it's an hour goes quick.
4 hours a day.
Because an hour goes quick. Because what you don't realize is it's not
I
really
can
an
do
hour.
4 hours by myself.
It's not really an hour. It's really 39 minutes when you take the breaks out and everything.
Yeah, it's stupid. I need more. For my genius to be, heard, for people to be able to take it all in, they need more time. I need more time.
Well, Buddy will join us in the 4 o'clock in the 3:30 part of the show. And if you missed it yesterday, Buddy is, everybody knows, is passionate about Silver Springs, and Silver Springs being repaired and fixed and brought back to the luster it had at one time in its life. And it was announced yesterday or the day before yesterday that Joe Wiesner of What's Up Ocala and Bobby Genovese was taking over the concessions of the park. And Buddy had a commentary on what he thought about that. We're going to play that at 3:15. Buddy didn't mince his words there, JJ. He said what he meant. He didn't. It wasn't a mean-spirited soapbox, but Buddy has some thoughts about Silver Springs that are worthy of hearing again. So we're going to hear those at 3:15. Also, the mayor's going to be here today. Kent Gwynn stopping by, which means we're way underdressed, even if we had tuxedos on. He'll be here. Austin's man in the mall. Yesterday, we sent Austin out in the mall to ask some people some questions about history. We'll have those results today. And in the 4 o'clock hour, Monroe trustee and local businessman Dave Cope, he'll be here. Monroe's real big in the news right now. The hospital is a very important entity in this county. And we're going to have Dave Cope along, and I'm sure Buddy will talk to him about the hospital. It is the news of the day. I'm not going to get into the three news stories I'm following, because I've found a story today that explains to me why I think the administration in charge today is wacko. The U.S. Appellate Court is hearing an argument by the government that the IRS should regulate tax preparers. That the IRS should come up with a test to give to H&R Block employees and Liberty Tax employees and mom and pop tax preparers, and you have to pay the government to take this test, and if you don't pass the test, you can't do taxes. It's perfectly okay, JJ, for you to do your own taxes without taking a test or anything. But they think, H&R Block train people because they're liable for bad tax returns. You know what I mean? But the government wants to regulate it, and it's just a way for the government to raise money and for them to try to oversee it. Well, a libertarian group has said no. So they took the government to court. Well, the government went into the front of the appellate court today and cited the Horse Act of 1884 as to why they should be able to oversee H&R Block. In 1884, there was a lot of back after the Civil War, people could file claims against the government for things they had lost during the Civil War. Horses become a big deal. Dead and stolen horses became a big deal. Because back then, as you know, there was no cars. So people weren't, you didn't drive around. A horse was how a man or woman got around. I mean, you'd get hung for stealing a horse. That's how important horses were. Well, people would start laying claims to that their horses were either stolen or killed by Union soldiers, and the government needed to give them their horses back. Well, the Horse Act of 1884 started regulating that because you would get people who would draw up the paperwork for this, and they would inflate the prices of the horses or how many horses, because they were getting a percentage of the money the government was giving for the horses. Well, the U.S. government went in the federal appellate court today and said that law about people making up the paperwork for dead horses and stolen horses is just like what tax preparers do with the IRS, so the IRS should be able to regulate them. I think it's horse manure. I think you're grasping at straws trying to find an old, outdated law. You got to go back all the way to 1884 to try to make your argument on why the IRS should regulate tax preparers. Don't you distrust the IRS enough now, and now they're trying to get even more in control of your tax dollars, your taxes? It'll hurt small mom and pop tax preparers. And it's just another intrusion of an overreaching, oversized government into our lives. And if this appellate court lets an 1884 law that governed how people did the paperwork for dead and stolen horses from the Civil War to dictate what the IRS is able to do in 2013, shame on the federal appellate court too. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Buddy Martin yesterday had some thoughts on Silver Springs. We're going to replay his thoughts on Silver Springs. It wasn't so much that he was upset and on a soapbox. He just he thinks maybe transparency needs to be a little more, and that the Springs need to be thought about a little more. We'll play that. We'll play those comments from Buddy Martin next on the Voice of Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Since 1976, Daniel L. Hightower, a lawyer, has been fighting for accident victim justice in North Central Florida and statewide. He believes everyone in America should follow the rules, including the insurance companies. He and his firm have experience fighting for victims of personal injury, wrongful death, workers' compensation, and Social Security disability, as well as serving those in need of help with bankruptcy, simple wills, and estate plans. The mission at the law offices of Daniel L. Hightower, PA, is to represent deserving clients and recover the maximum benefits they are entitled to by law in a timely manner. In personal injury and workers' compensation cases, there are no fees or costs unless a recovery is made. The law office of Daniel L. Hightower is located at 7 East Silver Springs Boulevard, Suite 300. For your free consultation, call 352-629-7777 or 1-888-LAW-1976 and visit danhightower.com for more information. Daniel L. Hightower, PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice, and the proud sponsor of Ask the Cops.
This reprise of Ask the Cops is proudly brought to you by Daniel L. Hightower, PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice since 1976. This is Ocala's Chief of Police, Greg Graham, answering one caller's question.
How often are the officers required to go to the firing range to keep their shooting skills up to par?
Great question. By FDLE rules, they're supposed to go once a year. we actually do, the police department does 2 qualifications a year, and then throughout the year we have practice days and sessions with them. But I tell you, the problem that we're having a difficult time getting ammo or enough ammo to have those practice days. But we do a minimum of 2 qualifications a year.
That reprise of Ask the Cops was proudly brought to you by Daniel L. Hightower, lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice since 1976. Be sure to tune in to Ask the Cops the second and fourth Friday of every month during the 4 o'clock hour on the Voice of Ocala.
Dr. Seaborn Hunt, board-certified ophthalmologist, the only ophthalmologist in Marion County offering bladeless laser cataract surgery with astigmatism correction. What does this mean to you? It means that your cataract surgery would be done with the newest and most advanced cataract surgical techniques on the market today. It means no more metal blades and more precise incisions. Laser cataract surgery combined with the new technology multifocal lens implants allows you the opportunity to be independent of glasses for most things that you do on a daily basis. Call Dr. Seaborn Hunt at 873-7200. That's 873-7200.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Fredericks Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Fredericks Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Fredericks Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Fredericks Appliance.
Life may not come with guarantees, but buying your next vehicle from Ford Lincoln of Ocala sure does. Start with their 7-day new vehicle price guarantee. If you find the identical new Ford or Lincoln vehicle anywhere else for less, Ford Lincoln of Ocala will refund you 110% of the difference. That's guaranteed. In the market for a quality pre-owned vehicle? Buy with confidence with Ford Lincoln of Ocala's 30-day pre-owned exchange policy. That's guaranteed. Ford Lincoln of Ocala's goal is to make buying your next vehicle fun, simple, fast, and guaranteed. Shop Ford Lincoln of Ocala today on North Highway 441, open 7 days a week, or shop at home at fordofocala.com. A 7-day new vehicle price guarantee, a 30-day pre-owned vehicle exchange policy. That's buying with confidence. That's buying from Ford Lincoln of Ocala. That's guaranteed. Ford Lincoln of Ocala reserves the right to verify quotes, advertise prices, 30-day pre-owned exchange policy, or 1,000 miles from date of purchase. Does not apply to vehicles sold as is. See dealer for complete details.
Looking for hand-cut steaks or just plain good food made from scratch daily? Then head over to Cody's Original Roadhouse for a fun, casual, family-friendly meal. Plus, don't miss the best happy hour with 2 for $1, everything from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day, including Top Shelf. Unwind and watch your favorite college or pro team on one of our many high-def TVs. Cody's, you won't go home hungry or broke. You'll just go home happy. Cody's Original Roadhouse, where quality and value come together.
We're back on the Voice of Ocala. Buddy Martin to join us in a moment. I had his commentary ready, but now I find out it's in pieces. So what's the first piece about, JJ?
The first piece is about the checklist that everybody was going to go through, all the people that cared about Silver Springs to see what they had to get done.
Well, here's Buddy Martin on that subject.
Over the weekend, the news comes that the Silver Springs deal is done, more or less. The checklist that many of us had for the Springs was like this. Number 1, beginning cleaning up the springs and the pollution. Happy to report that is in progress. Number 2, find a new tenant. Palace is out. That's done. Number 3, tearing down the walls around the spring so we can once again return to the picnic grounds or walk along the sidewalk next to the springs and enjoy the beauty of the place. The walls, I understand, have come down. Finally, number 4, finding local people to run the concessions. That's the question that was answered on Saturday. A story about Bill Thompson in the Star Banner. Sort of.
That was Buddy Martin talking about the checklist that had been applied at Silver Springs. Now, here's Buddy talking about Joel Wiesner winning the concessions.
The deal is done now, and Joel Wiesner of What's Up Ocala and Silver Springs management, along with Bobby Genovese, will run this show. I do not know Joel Wiesner. I know people who know Joel Wiesner. I've spoken about Joel Wiesner on the phone. I've actually had him text me back and forth. And I hope to have a chance to do that soon. He's 26, I understand, and he's the man running the operation. And Mr. Genovese, owner of BG Capital Group out of the Bahamas, is the investor and has the money. I don't know how much other money is involved in this. I don't know the details. Hopefully the state will tell us they'll have to by law at some point because of the Sunshine Law. But I'm just really disappointed in the process of how business is done. The unwillingness of the parties to come out in the open, discuss the events as they unfolded, and even though the meetings were generally good, the real information never came out. I say we simply must demand better from our state and local officials. And I guess our lack of intensity on our end to demand that we want to know.
And then finally, here's Buddy as he sums up his thoughts on Silver Springs.
But my thoughts about this, I'm happy we've resolved some of the issues about Silver Springs. I remain bullish on Silver Springs. I just hope that the news that comes next will answer some of my remaining questions. We shall see.
So there was Buddy's comments yesterday on Silver Springs, Monday on Silver Springs. Buddy now joins us. Buddy, after 2 days of reflection on what you said Monday, has anybody been in contact with you, or have you had any of your questions answered, or is it still right where you left it Monday?
Am I on the air yet?
You are on the air.
Oh, okay. Well, I just get to pulling in here.
I know.
I have to stop and think about what I said. No, I had a little feedback, nothing of any magnitude. I think a lot of people who, are like me, are waiting to see. Let's be honest. How much do we know about it?
We know very little.
How much do people know about it?
And we've heard the argument that now that the concession's been awarded and all, you'll start hearing things that those meetings were done behind doors because of competitiveness and everything. But I think that's a cop-out, don't you?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where business kicked in and Sunshine, the government, kicks out. Because I know that there are certain business negotiations that you have to keep somewhat private. But I kind of feel like that if I don't know anybody that knew anything about it, and the one person I thought did know about it says to me he was not in the circle, then I got to say that there was a great deal of discussion and negotiation done. Let's not say in the shadows, because that sounds like it's something being wrong, done is wrong, but let's say out of the limelight, so that perhaps, we don't know the story.
And do the state parks have to be public about their negotiations with private entities?
I'm not sure about that. I don't know, but there's a lot that we got to find out. But I do want to say this. I've heard also that, and it's been written by Bill Thompson in the Star Banner, that Joe Wiesner's group basically got involved because of the concerts and other things of that nature, and was asked by the state if they would take the other parts of it. And so that tells me either A, they didn't publicize it enough to let people know, or B, there was not anybody who really wanted to do it, or C, they were all scared about the possibilities of what was in the Springs and what the environmental situation might be.
So then you're saying that, from your understanding, Joe Wiesner and his group originally wanted to take on just the music aspect.
Well, that's pretty much, maybe a couple other things in there. I mean, I don't know what all, but that was one of they wanted a couple of concessions. Go back and read the Bill Thompson story. I'll have to get it out, look at it. But basically, that's what it was. And it more than inferred that they were asked by the state, and
if you're taking these, go ahead and take it all.
And there were some people that I know that wanted to do it, and apparently either didn't have the money or the right plan. So it's about the Benjamins too, who has the money? And I guess maybe Joel Wiesner got the backing of Bobby Genovese from BG Capital in the Bahamas, and that's what I suppose was a missing piece. So let's not be too quick to judge on it. Let's give them a chance to sort of get their act together and then explain what went on. I am at loss as to why we have a county commission and to a lesser degree a city council, and we have state representatives in Tallahassee, And at no time did I hear anybody, except for the few times that were contacted by the paper, and that Stan came on the program and explained what he knew. Stan McLean, it was his vision originally. We didn't have a whole lot of dialogue. We weren't really told, and I guess we didn't ask the right questions. I did, however, as I pointed out, get in touch with the guy who was the head of the state parks, who said he was going to come down and be on the program, and maybe he still will honor that. But when I called him back, he didn't answer my call. So it's not about me or about his program. It's not what it's about. It's about the public and about Marion County, about business dealings, about what our interests are. And if it's true that maybe this is, as one person suggested, well, this thing will never work, and in 3 years they'll go back and have to find somebody else. There's all kinds of speculation. When you don't have facts, speculation runs rampant. So that's what we have right now.
And that's that I think is what you said is the crux of the issue, because we don't have any information. All it does is fuel speculation, and that never leads us down the right road.
Seems that way, doesn't it? It seems that way, and so I'm interested to see what public officials. I know the mayor.
What do you guys say in the media, the press? Did y'all say, if you don't give us anything to write about, we'll find something to write about?
Or make it up. I mean, some people will. Which I don't subscribe to that, but
that happens all the time.
Well, I mean, it's been proven. I've been to seminars where I've seen this happen, or I've seen experiments with one group of people who were involved and one wasn't. And how people who were not being told about what was going on began gossiping about what was happening. It's just, if we don't know, we're going to guess, And that's how gossip starts. So anyway, I know that there is some kind of a committee being formed by the DEP. They've got a number. The mayor will be here in a second. He'll fill us in on what he's serving on that committee. And I suppose they'll begin to spoon feed us information that they want us to have about Silver Springs. Look, let's be good sports and say it's done. Let's move on now, and let's see if we can make it work and get behind it. I just knew what I was getting, which I knew I was getting behind, and I'm not really sure of that. So anyway, that's it. Coming up, also we got factoids or fake. You guys ready up for a game?
Yeah.
You want to go now?
We can go now. Right. JJ's always right for a rear end whipping.
All right. I think JJ's won the last two.
No, JJ's won the last one.
We didn't even play yesterday.
Yeah. By the way, major kudos for JJ at CF. And Robert,
what does that mean?
Bob Marino said, not once but twice, I love the show. I love the cast.
He loves corner kick.
He loves the cast. And I have an intern who's a soccer fan who want to come here and work, a woman. And another guy's very proud. But he said several times, twice, I love the class. I love the way you guys play with it. And he says JJ brings up some interesting points. So he's come along.
Interesting.
He said,
he doesn't say good.
He was praising you. And I said, he said something like the fact you've come a long way, whatever that means.
Whoa.
I don't know.
He always brings interesting things to the show. I'll give him that.
Yeah, sometimes we don't let him in, but he brings them. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, factoid or fake. I'm not going to tell you how many of these are
Is
fun.
the mayor going to play with us? He's here. Yeah. Let's let the mayor play too.
If he wants to. He may not want to. He got a day job to worry about right now. If he wants to hop in, he can. These are about 8 things. Maybe there's some fake things. Maybe there's not. Maybe they're all fake. Maybe they're all true. So I'm going to read them, and you guys tell me. In 1800, the average life expectancy was 40 years old. In much of the world today, it's nearly double that.
True.
Fact.
False.
Fact.
Who said false?
Me.
JJ, you're wrong. Ding.
80s, the life expectancy.
Yeah, of the world.
Some parts of the world.
What?
Some here. The mayor's chipping in, see? Okay, get the gist of it now? All right, number 2. People who eat a 16-ounce jar of peanut butter twice a year tend to stay more focused on their goals.
Do they do it in one sit down?
False. I don't know.
Fact.
False. Who's going false? Me. What'd you do, JJ?
True.
The mayor's correct. It's false. I made it up. So somebody's got 2 misses there.
Well, I asked another question. I didn't get an answer.
What was the question?
Do they do it in one sit down, or how does that work?
I don't know. How would if I made it up, how would I know? I'll give you a false answer? Yes? Okay, yes, they did.
Okay.
Then he'd have went with false.
Yeah. Okay. Heads up. The smell of freshly cut grass is actually the scent the plants release when in distress.
False.
False.
Fact.
Tom's correct. JJ, you're out.
I'm out.
Mayor's got you got two misses.
Two
got two misses.
2-1.
Yeah. So Tom is leading the way. You got one miss, Tom. JJ's back in for a runner-up position.
Yeah.
He and the mayor are playing it off. All right. Listen closely. The world record for the tightest parallel parking job was done in a Mini Cooper in a space just 6 inches longer than the vehicle.
Fact.
You're all correct. It is fact. Wish I had my bell.
They did it at high speed, too.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
I watched it done. I watched the...
Listen up. There have been more presidents of the United States from Ohio and Virginia than any other state.
Fact.
False.
Fact.
Actually, you're all correct because it is false because Virginia is, in fact, the state. But counting from the place of birth, Virginia has most presidents, but Ohio has a claim since Harrison was actually living in Ohio when he was elected.
Fact.
So they're actually
both
tied.
tied.
They're tied. So you're both right on that.
Knew that.
Death is only the second most common fear among people. The first now is failure.
False.
Fact.
Tom's right. It is fact. Okay.
What?
Yep. Eating eggs regularly reduces depression by over 60%.
Fact.
False.
Tom again is correct. It is true. It is true. Okay. Finally, collywobbles is a technical collywobbles, COLLYWOBBLS, is the technical term for the butterflies you feel in your stomach when you see someone you love.
True.
I'm going to go false on that one.
I'm going to go fact on that just because I can't lose.
Correct. It is true. There you go.
See, Kemp, we waste a lot of time on this show.
So, but look at the research. I have a whole research team that travels.
Collywobbles.
Collywobbles. Yeah, remember that. I got just say, honey, I got collywobbles for you. That's all you got to say. Now, here's the deal.
She may throw something at you.
Yeah, here's the deal. This is research is done around the world by a crack team of people on staff. We pay large sums of money to going around the world to get these facts.
Well, that Mini Cooper, when I watched one night on a Guinness Book of World Records show. They had it on TBS.
Yeah.
And the guy did it in a Mini Cooper, and he literally did it. He started the parallel parking. He drove up. He was driving up, threw the emergency brake up, and slid into that parallel parking job at about 25 miles an hour.
Tom, I'm a little worried about you watching that kind of thing on TV.
It was a stunt man. A stunt man did it. He is a stunt man that did it in Paris. He's part of the.
He must have been one heck of a drive.
At the Disney Paris show, the Rock. You know that car show they got at Hollywood Studios here too. That's where he did it at.
All right, the mayor's in the house. We got man in the mall to go. Tweets and quotes. Good man in the mall stuff.
It's angry.
Mayor, what do you think if you ask people? If you ask people out here, the first 5 presidents, 20 walking around the mall, how many people do you think would get them right? First 5 presidents.
First 5 presidents.
How many out of 20 would get it
How
correct?
many could you get right, Mr. Mayor?
Oh, I used to memorize all of them when I was in elementary school.
It's unfair for us to.
But we only had to go through Kennedy at that time.
But,
you only got to get the first 5.
But here's the thing about it: memory is not knowledge always, and things that you don't use again for 50 years tend to fade away. So you may have known it, but you don't remember.
The mayor was in elementary school not 50 years ago.
Well,
he's a little younger than that.
He was quite a while ago.
In elementary school 50 years ago.
So
mayor's only like 53 years old. Okay, he's a young man.
Yeah. So anyway, here's the deal. We're going to give you that information in just a minute. We'll tell you about that. And can you update us on what you know about Silver Springs when we come back? Tell us what you know about that. And maybe something, maybe baseball related, perhaps, and whatever else is on your plate today.
All right.
Yeah. Hot news for us? You got some kind of hot text there. You're getting someone who's texting you right now?
No, I'm looking at information about the Springs and our advisory committee and who's on it.
The point is, though, is that you don't even know that much about it. I'm saying
we haven't had our first
but my point is that nobody knows anything about it. Nobody knows anything about what's happening. Are you going to find out for us?
Yeah, I mean that's the point of the
meeting. Will you be our intrepid reporter?
I'll be your reporter.
We'll sign you up to a contract right now. You'll be our reporter. We'll find out finally what is going on. Maybe with the Springs of this. What's it called? advisory committee for DEP?
Department of Environmental Protection, Division of Recreation and Parks, Silver Springs State Park Advisory Group.
Okay, good. Well, tell us about that when we get back. Mayor King went in the house. We shall return the champion once again. I guess Tom Schmitz. What is that for you?
That's 4, I think.
JJ, what is it? Is it 4 for him or 2 for you?
No way, I'm winning.
No, I'm crushing you.
You know what?
Both.
Obviously, I have to keep score of this. You guys are not very good at this, so I'll just say Tom has 3 and JJ has 2. All right, we'll take a break. Back coming up with the Mayor next right here on the program called The Voice of Ocala. Stay tuned to
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source. Tom James, it's Friday night again. Time for the Marion County Friday Night High School Game of the Week, brought to you by the McDonald Agency. 2 teams going in 2 different directions.
0-4 Westport looking for a strong defense to match against double tough 3-1 Leesburg.
That's right, Tom James. Looks like a game on paper that Leesburg should win easily.
We'll see. Friday night, 7 o'clock pregame, 7:30 kickoff.
Right here on the Marion County Friday Night High School Game of the Week, presented by the McDonald Allstate Agency.
WOCA, The Source. This week, be sure to follow the Florida State Seminoles as they take on the Boston College Eagles. Saturday afternoon at 3:30, right here on WOCA, The Source.
Dry, itchy, scaly skin? Do you have psoriasis? Consider joining our research study. Renstar Medical Research in Ocala is conducting a research study evaluating the effectiveness of investigational combination of 2 study medications for moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. You may qualify if you're between the ages of 18 and 75 and have been diagnosed with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis for at least 6 months. For more information, please call Renstar in Ocala at 352-629-5800. Qualified participants may receive study-related medical care and study medication. Compensation for time and travel may also be provided. To find out more information about this psoriasis study, please call Renstar Medical Research at 352-629-5800. That's 352-629-5800. Renstar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today.
This is Austin Tavern reminding you to stay in contact with us at WOCA. Find us on Twitter and Instagram at Voice of Ocala. Make sure to become a friend of our Facebook page and call us at 622-9622.
You're listening to WOCA, Ocala.
On the next AM Ocala Live, Robin and I will be speaking to New York Times best-selling author Carla Neggers. Her new book is called Declan's Cross.
Dr. Gregory Saranian is an orthopedic surgeon and a patient safety advocate. He is going to be speaking about how to communicate with your orthopedic surgeon to help ensure a successful surgery.
And then we put news back in News Talk. When we do News Bites, these are the hottest news items right off the press, and we deliver them to you bite-sized.
Join the veterans in our community on Veterans News with Hank Whittier.
Roger Gilmore will be on at 10:05. He'll be in the studio. He's the executive director of Covenant Children's Home, providing all of the stable elements of a traditional family for children who are in need of a place to call home.
Kip Snyder is a beerologist. He'll be giving us an introduction to beer.
And then Nicholas Gutierrez is coming on. He's an attorney, the volunteer state chairman of the Florida Energy Forum, and he's coming out to speak about the pros and cons of the Keystone XL pipeline. All of that plus Fun with Joe on the next AM Ocala Live right here on The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM.
1370 AM.
Phoenix Promotional Solutions, your company supplier of banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Where you give them approved artwork by noon, the next day by 4 p.m., you pick up your banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404. That's 368-2404. Don't forget, they do vehicle wraps also. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Hey everybody, this is Kelly Hart, your new host of the Ocala Magazine radio show. Join me every Friday at 10 a.m. when we bring the pages of Ocala Magazine to life with in-depth interviews from and about your community. So don't miss Marion County's favorite city magazine, Ocala Magazine, every Friday at 10 a.m. right here on 1370 AM and 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
We're back on the Voice of Ocala. Buddy Martin, Tom Schmitz, along with J.J. LaSalva, joined by the mayor of Ocala, Kent Gwynn. As we left to go to break, we were talking about Silver Springs and how little is known about the process that's going into rejuvenate the springs. Kent, you're part of the, I guess, the advisory group that the DEP's put together.
Correct.
What can you tell us about where we're at with the springs at this early point?
Well, that's what the purpose of this meeting is going to be on, I believe it's October 4th. I know we had Joel Wiesner and his group, October 4th at 1 o'clock, 8:30 a.m. to 1 o'clock.
Is this a public meeting or a private meeting?
I'm reading a letter here. It's probably a public meeting. The initial advisory group meeting has been scheduled at Silver Springs, at the town center at Silver Springs. And but I'm going to say it's a public meeting. But no, what they're trying to do is, I think what happened in talking to the folks from DEP was they got going on this, and I think it's just a little bit bigger than what they thought it was. And they're just, stopping, taking a look at what they're going to do, get everybody together and plan kind of what direction they went ahead. I mean, the government officials that are involved in it are a gentleman named Al Doherty, who was Deputy Secretary of Land and Recreation, Department of Environmental Protection in Tallahassee, Commissioner Stan McLean, myself as mayor, Dr. Thomas Lane, Marion Soil and Water Conservation District for the USDA Service Office here in Ocala. Maury Dean is on it. Scott Mitchell, Museum Director, Andy Kessling, Judy Greenberg, Narvoz Seju, CEO and President of HDG Hotels here in Ocala, Loretta Schaefer, Tourist Development Bureau, Kevin Shealy, CEP. So, a lot of good people there.
People who have Ocala's interest and Marion County's interest in their forethought.
Oh, absolutely. You've got land management agencies involved in here, so there'll be a lot of different interest involved in the advisory group.
Well, the question I have is, it sounds like this group was put together, like you said, because the DEP, Department of Environmental Protection, didn't realize the undertaking that they were facing.
It's definitely correct.
How in the world did they not understand the undertaking? We've been telling, Ocala and Marion County have been telling them for 2 years about how intense the undertaking needed to be to right the springs problems.
Well, I wasn't involved in these early conversations. I kind of sat back and, watched everybody and just was listening. I think once they got in there and started taking the place apart and looking at a lot of the damage that had occurred and the condition that was in, I think they then thought, we really don't have a plan of what we want to do. We need to get everybody on the same page.
They thought they could give it a facelift and realized that they needed to raise it.
Exactly.
I mean,
there are a lot more, physically, as far as repairs and things like that need to be done to buildings, et cetera. They need to go through it with a fine tooth comb and look at what needs to be done and put together a game plan, which it didn't sound like in talking to the gentleman from DEP, whose name I can't remember right now. That's kind of what he was sharing with me. So, which is good. To get it done right. At least they did. Hey, let's stop. Let's just don't keep going, and end up with something we're not happy with. At least they had the courage to say, okay, look, this is bigger than what we thought it would be. Let's take a deep breath. Stop, get everybody together. Let's make sure we do it right.
And at least they didn't
say, I'm proud of them for that.
At least they didn't say, hey, this is more than we thought it was going to be. It's not worth it to us. Let's just let it become a wooded area. At least they didn't do that either.
True. Yeah, it could have been, like a passive park and, a lot of brown shirts there and, taking your $5 ticket to walk around and look at the woods.
Right.
And
at least they're not doing that either.
No, they're not doing that.
Well, now, there's been much speculation, and if you know anything, if you know about this, please let us know. If not, we understand that too. There's been much speculation about what went into Joe Wiesner and his group getting the concessions, and that there wasn't a whole lot of information given there. Is that something that, because it's a private business trying to get something that obviously is an economic boon for them, is that something that should be made public? Is it common that, bids are made public and the negotiations are made public before they're awarded?
Well, let me back up. I mean, I've known Joel Wiesner since he was probably, in the 9th grade. So I've known him for a long, long time. He's a good young man. There's no question about
like him.
that.
I like Joel a lot.
Great guy. He grew up with my son. But as far as RFPs and invitations to negotiate and things like that, we do those routinely at the city, and they're put out. They're very public. They're subject to public record requests, et cetera, et cetera. So if someone wants to look at it and what his bid was now, especially now that it's over, people are more than welcome to make a public records request of the county and look at it and see what the dollar amount was, how the bid was written, whether it was and it may have been I don't know if it was a request for a proposal or if it's an invitation to negotiate. And the difference between those is an invitation to negotiate is just saying, we want to negotiate a contract, respond.
Show us what you're working with.
Yeah, the proposal is there's already a proposal and they're saying respond to this, or they could be a RFQ, request for qualifications, and then, okay, well, tell us what qualifications you have, to do this project. There are kind of two things, there's like the low bidder and then there's the low bidder that has the ability, to do the project. Sounds like, he may have been both. Now, this partner that he has, I don't know who that is. There was some gentleman that was named from the Bahamas.
Bobby Genovese.
I don't know. I have no idea who that is.
Well, the question that I have is because I know Joel, you know Joel.
Right.
And I've heard speculation that why would you assign this kind of economic boon to such a young guy? And the question has been asked, and I'm going to ask it to you, is Joe Wiesner, as the front man, is he a capable person to do this kind of job?
I'm gonna speak for the mayor. I don't think he knows.
I don't know what it is they're asking him to do.
No.
So it'd be kind of difficult, for me to answer that. I mean, I have to look at the proposal. Now, this Bobby Genovese, he
owns a horse farm here. I'm told.
Okay.
B&G Farms.
B&G Farms, whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, if it's just him going out and getting vendors and negotiating contracts, then I guess he's got the ability to do that. He's running a magazine. He's doing that. And has been very successful at that. So I don't know if he's surrounding himself, with other advisors that are partnering with him to do this. I don't know.
Well, I guess it probably is inappropriate for us to comment on until we know more about what the goal.
Right.
What we're all wondering.
Right.
And Tom's right. It does raise your eyebrow when you say okay. And I know people who know him personally.
Right.
Who were really close to him.
Sure.
And said, I love him. He's a good young man. I'm not really sure how this all fits in,
Right.
So I'm sure that Bobby, I'm sure that Joel has questions for himself.
Sure.
To his defense, he did contact me at one point when I was talking about this and said, we're going to move forward on this, but I can't talk about it right now.
Right.
So consequently, I think it was very much, it was a surprise, and let's see what we make out of it and what happens from there. Okay, you got any baseball news for us? We'll take a break and come back. And what do you got for?
The last thing I heard is our plans were on October 1st to have.
All right. Well, don't give it away. That's just a tease. That's just a tease.
Okay.
To see what's coming up next. Keep people interested.
All right.
It's the mayor's message coming up next right here on the Voice of Ocala. Stay tuned.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's national magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz. The Angie Lewis State Farm Agency is located at 1122 Northeast 36th Avenue, where visitors are always welcome and the coffee pot is always on. Hi, this is Buddy Martin. I want to tell you about a conversation I had recently with General Manager Pat Murray on the great family atmosphere at Country Club of Ocala.
It's a family first club. Again, we have any number of different types of memberships, but obviously the one that attracts the greatest level of interest is our family. And the reason for that is we have a little something for everybody. I mean, we obviously have a world-class golf course. We have 7 tennis courts here for all levels of tennis players. We have a junior Olympic-sized swimming pool. We have a fitness center that's second to none, and we have state-of-the-art equipment in our fitness center.
Country Club of Ocala, where the facilities are all a family will ever need. For more information, call today at 352-237-6644. That's 352-237-6644. Country Club of Ocala, proud sponsor of Monday's Gator Report and Gator Talk Thursday right here on The Source.
Your home for Florida State football all season long. WOCA, The Source.
Cookies, 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 cookies.
When you want something special and fun for any occasion, get cookies. That's right. The Great American Cookie Company in the Paddock Mall, Ocala will make a delicious, fun-filled delight just for you. You might notice that I said fun and delicious more than once. That's because I can't say it enough. The next time you're at the mall, be sure and stop by or call 352-237-2557 to place your order.
Cookies, cookies,
Yum.
cookies, cookies. We go cookie eating cookies.
The Great American Cookie Company.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is once again that time of year to vote for Ocala Magazine's Best of the Best. Each year, you have the power to go online and vote for your favorite chef, restaurant, hotel, and of course, your favorite radio show. So go online to ocalamagazine.com and vote for Larry and Robin in the morning on WOCA, The Source.
Jacob, you forgot the voice of Ocala with Buddy Martin.
Ah, yes, of course. Then also vote for the voice of Ocala with Buddy Martin.
No, Jacob, they can't vote for both.
Well, that does present a problem. How do they decide?
I don't really care, just as long as they vote.
Are you always like this?
Like what?
So charming and friendly.
Oh, then yes, I am. Now wrap it up already.
Okay then, to recap, go to ocalamagazine.com and vote for anyone you want, as long as it's Larry and Robin in the morning or the voice of Ocala with Buddy Martin on WOCA, The Source. How's that?
It'll do.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
If you get a migraine, try to hug your family more often or your pets. The chemical oxytocin, which is released when we hug a loved one, it can cut the intensity of a migraine headache in half. Today, a lot of people think that flirting via text message is as bad as cheating in real life. Comedies may get us laughing and help us forget our pain for a few minutes, but sad songs and movies actually help us get over the pain much quicker.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Them people all were fools. Cause Curtis Slow was the finest picker to ever play the blues.
All right, back with Mayor. A couple minutes to go here on a Wednesday. The mayor's with us. We got to get that, JJ, that horrible, great commercial. Oh, what day is it? Oh, it's hump day. That's a great line. And the mayor comes in, we'll play that as intro. It's hump day, and the mayor's here, and I love my dog barks at that camel, by the way.
Buddy does the worst camel impression.
Well, let me hear you say one, pal.
Hump day.
That's
That's
better.
how he does it.
That's better. It's better. Maybe we'll just let you do it, and you can record it. So there you go. You make a better camel than I do, so you win.
Oh, well.
Mayor, we only got a couple minutes, but catch us up on what the the heartbeat of the city. What's going on? What are your priorities now? I know you work you're the boss, your top cop, and I see there's been a big sweep in the last couple of weeks with the synthetic drug situation.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's those guys. I saw one of them yesterday at a crime stat meeting, and I said, you guys have been rocking and rolling. And he said, doing our job, but it's been, he said, it was kind of slow there for a while, but, last week was kind of busy. I said, you made up for it. But no, those guys have just been doing an awesome job. I remember, when the Attorney General came down, General Bondi, and we talked about synthetic drugs, and we came up with an ordinance and worked hand in hand with the Attorney General's office to develop our local ordinance, and then partnered with her state statute that she came up with. We got them stopped in the city. I know the county is looking at coming up with an ordinance now to outlaw them. I would encourage them to just simply, copy ours since it works. But they'll figure it out. But yeah, it's those drugs are really, really bad. The other thing we're doing, I've been talking about this for forever, but I think, and I'll have to verify this when I leave. I had a call into someone to verify it, but hopefully October 1 we're going to have this item on the agenda for the city to vote for. Moving forward with the stadium, for the
I got
Yankees.
some stats for you on that, on the survey we took here, by the way.
On the survey, okay.
Yeah, I'll just give you real quick. We did a little mini survey. We're doing a running count, and the question was, this is Austin Statman Tatman, and it said, the question was asked, have you heard about the possibility of a minor league baseball team coming, and would you support a half-cent sales tax referendum? And this time around, it took 20. And 10 people said yes, and 10 people said no. Overall, out of 40, 22 people say no, 18 people say yes.
Okay.
So is that?
Well, that was about
50-50.
It was about 55% when they did a survey. Before, I don't know, sorry, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
The question is, would you support a half-cent sales tax for only 5 years? For
sunset on it.
Yeah.
All right, we're out of time, Mayor. We're right up against it here. We got about 30 seconds. You ready to think the downtown projects and the mall? I mean, the square ready to kick off here pretty soon? What's happening there?
It looks like they're taking the fence down when I was down there earlier.
Oh, finally. That's good.
Yeah, so hopefully they'll be ready here shortly. Get the seal back on the gazebo.
Outstanding. Mayor Kent Gwynn, always good about coming in and spending some time with us. Appreciate that, Mayor.
All right, you're
See
welcome.
you next Wednesday on, what is it again, Tom?
Hump Day.
There you go. You get your own camel every Wednesday coming in. Appreciate that. All right, we get back. We got Dave Cope. By the way, real quick, Dave Cope. You're going to give a 10-second weigh-in on the hospital Monroe and the sale. You know anything about that at all? Can you?
Well, I would just say, I've always said, you're going to have the same 2,000 people, plus people taking care of local citizens just like you have before, no matter who's running the hospital. So that's a good thing. So
all right. Well, Dave Cope will weigh in. He's on trustee on Monroe, and we'll hear from him. We'll talk to him about his visit he had to the home headquarters up there, and we'll get the take on him from CHS. Stay tuned to the Voice of Ocala. We're coming back momentarily right here on
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price fixed rate allowance.
Yahoo! Kids are back in school and report cards are right around the corner. I've got old cars shaking in their boots because I'm flunking clunkers and junkers this month.
Hey, Professor Chris Spears from Prestige Auto Sales. What's a smart plan to keep you from flunking out in a car that can't make the grade?
This week, trade in and save more. Get the appraised value of your old car plus up to $4,500 off a nicer, newer car.
Stuck in bad credit detention? Our For the People credit approval process wants to help everyone, even if you've been turned down before.
I vow that no car will be left behind.
Visit Prestige Auto Sales today.
Yes, during our old car report card event, you'll get up to $4,500 off a nicer, newer car, plus the appraised value of your old car. But hurry, my old car report card event ends September 30th, or after we've helped 67 students pass the test in a nicer, newer car. My name is Chris Spears, and I'm a dealer for the people.
Visit Prestige Auto Sales in Ocala or Bellevue, or call 694-1234. See you at Prestige.
Getting a head start in learning to read is more important now than ever for our young children. The Reading Pals program of Marion County pairs up reading mentors with struggling kindergartners and helps them get up to speed in their most important years. But they need volunteers. If you'd like to be a Reading Pal, call Jan Hathaway at the United Way at 732-9696. That's 732-9696. Be a Reading Pal today.
Tom James, it's Friday night again. Time for the Marion County Friday Night High School Game of the Week, brought to you by the McDonald Agency. Two teams going in two different directions.
0-4 Westport looking for a strong defense to match against double tough 3-1 Leesburg.
That's right, Tom James. Looks like a game on paper that Leesburg should win easily.
We'll see. Friday night, 7 o'clock pregame, 7:30 kickoff.
Right here on the Marion County Friday Night High School Game of the Week, presented by the McDonald Allstate Agency.
WOCA, the source.
If you need a sign or a banner for your yard or your business or your campaign, I'd recommend you go to Signs Unlimited at 318 South Magnolia in Ocala. Screen printing, embroidery, digital graphics. Do what I did when we needed signs for the Save the Marion Theater Group. Go see Vic Buttermore at Signs Unlimited if you want quality work with a fast turnaround from somebody who is deeply committed to his community and always ready to assist you. There's a reason Vic's slogan is, "It's our business to make your business better." Sign up for Signs Unlimited. Call 732-7341 today.
Hurricane season is upon us. WOCA and Sunbelt Rentals wants you to be prepared. Sunbelt Rentals has the equipment to help, like air nailers, aerial lifts, chainsaws, chippers, and stump grinders. They have light towers, skid steer loaders, and generators, just to name a few. Sometimes you might need a little help cleaning up afterwards. Sunbelt has the equipment you need, like dehumidifiers, pumps, sewer snakes, wet dry vacs, floor dryers, carpet equipment, and more. And right now is the time to get it done, with 2 special offers just for WOCA listeners. If you rent Friday after 3 p.m. and return it Monday before 9 a.m., you will only be charged for 1 day. Plus, just by mentioning WOCA, you get 25% off your rental. You heard right, not 5 or 10, but 25% off your rental just by mentioning that you heard it here on WOCA. But you'd better hurry, this is a limited time offer. Visit Sunbelt today on Highway 27, just half mile east of I-75. Give them a call at 369-9101 or visit them on the web, sunbelt.com.
Now is the time to take advantage of Florida Credit Union's CD specials. Our 36-month CD comes in at 1.26% APY. A 24-month is working for you at 1.0% APY. And our 12-month at 0.75% APY. All CD rate specials require $10,000 minimum. With friendly service and low rates like these, it's not hard to see why Florida Credit Union has your CD options covered. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Call 352-237-8222 for more information.
Don't get caught without your daily source of senior deals. Pick up your copy of the Senior Voice newspaper. It's your source for schedule and events tailored to seniors, with information you need, like a list of free events in the area. We even have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company to you that fits your needs, and all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about them. For more information, call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223. And pick up your copy of the Senior's Voice at most any business up and down the 200 corridor.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. Where in Florida, a flood watch remains in effect. It'll be rather cloudy today with showers and a thunderstorm. Some of the rain can be heavy, the high 81 to 85. It'll be mostly cloudy early tonight with a shower or thunderstorm, then partly cloudy late tonight, though 72 to 76. For tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm in spots, high 87 to 91. Friday, partly sunny, perhaps a shower, high 84 to 88. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Joe Lundberg.
You're listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
Text and drive in most states, but there are no laws against eating while driving. Well, that could change. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says a driving distraction is anything that diverts the driver's attention from navigating the vehicle and responding to critical events. So let's practice. Put down the candy bar. It probably won't surprise you to learn that your boss doesn't like you to be on Facebook while you're at work. The social networking site topped a survey by market research firm Statistica on employers nationwide. Twitter and YouTube weren't too far behind. How many senators can say they read their kids a bedtime story?
I'm just sick of all the amateur stuff, you know? I mean, like, if I'm paying top dollar, I want a little production value, you know? Like some editing, transition, something, some music.
Don't worry, we didn't leave you.
He's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Our bosses say we gotta stay.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei.
It's time for the second hour of The Voice of Ocala.
Hoo-ah! You ever come across anything like time travel?
Come on, stick around. It's free.
If you win, you win. If you lose, you still win.
Hi, welcome to hour 2 of the program called The Voice of Ocala, like the man said. My pleasure now to have a guest on the show. I've been trying to get on there for a while. He's kind of busy, and he's got some good information. He's on top of a lot of issues in this community, including business and including work in the community, and including things like the Monroe Hospital and except Monroe Regional and what have you. But he's also kind of a kindred spirit. I don't mean just because we go to the same church. I mean because if you listen to this show, and I'm sorry to my friend Tom Ingram. He knows I'm accepting him. This is not part of him. That I get off on my soapbox and sometimes about banks. I get so, and I'm not a businessman. I'm not making big loans. In general, just the nuisance factor of going into a bank, which, by the way, Gateway has knocked all those stereotypes down, and it's completely the opposite. But I really get angry, and you guys know because you've heard me. We've gone. You got to jump through hoops. I'm going to tell this quick story, and then I'm going to get my friend on to talk about. Let him rant for a minute, and I'll tell you who he is. Is that, you know, aside from the fact that I go to this other bank where I've been banking for about 16 years, and 5 of it here, and still go down there, and nobody knows who I am. No, not that I'm important, but I'm a regular customer. Besides that, what really drives me crazy is getting information right. And I went in and I called a bank recently to find out some information to make sure I wanted the statements. I wanted a statement that was for my taxes. And I was told, here's how you get it, and here's who you go see. And I said, okay, good. So I asked for it. Any teller can give it to you. So I go to the bank and I stand in line for 5-6 minutes. That doesn't sound like much, but when you're busy, that's 5-6 minutes. And I walk up to the teller and I say, here's what I want and here's what I need. And they say, oh, we can't give you that, sir. I said, why not? Well, we just have to have approval of a banker to get that. I said, well, who on the phone just told me? He said, well, I don't know who told you, but that's not right. So I go over and sit in a chair and wait for the banker, and the banker, 10 minutes later, invites me in, and she tells me, I told her what I want, and she doesn't even know for sure herself about it. She has to make a call to find out, in fact, how to get these. She says, I don't think you can get them back that far. I said, well, the home office told me I could, and and your people told me I could get them from the teller, and now you're telling me I can't. Well, let me go check on it. She came back, and indeed, the information, I could get them from 2 years back. So this 20 minutes of wasted time on a customer, and I'm just a little guy. I'm not the guy going there where my livelihood depends on my ability to get a loan, although sometimes I feel like it is. So I can imagine people who are in the game of skin, whether borrowed money for their business, which is what we all have to do pretty much, and such a man is David Cope. Hi, David.
Hey, buddy. How's it going? It's great to be here.
Good to have you finally.
Yeah,
I mean to steal your thunder on the rant, but you're in a mood to...
Yeah, well, I just came just got off the telephone a few minutes ago with the local bank, and their headquarters is not here in Marion County.
So it's not Tom Ingram, at least we know.
No, it's not. It's not. No, it's not my buddy Tom. But and nothing against this particular bank, but I just have found over the past 5 or 6 years, this financial downturn started for me in 2007. And I'm a real estate developer, and unfortunately I thought the real estate game would continue on for a couple more years. And
who among us did not, by the way?
Yeah, exactly. And I had too many chips probably in the pot. I'll admit that. But anyway, part of borrowing money from an FDIC insured institution is that they have to abide by the rules and regulations that the FDIC comes down, and all of that comes down from Washington, D.C. more or less. But they want your personal financial statement in their file. And most loans, if not all loans that they make, have what's called a personal loan guarantee. And that means that they can come not only take the collateral that's pledged in a real estate loan, for instance, but they can come and take your other stuff.
All right, so let's just get that straight. So it isn't just your corporation, which is what? What is your corporation?
Well, it was it used to be Cope Properties.
Okay, well, anyway, whatever it was, they couldn't just come and foreclose on your properties there in terms of an LLC or whatever the case may be. They make you sign a paper that says you can come get my personal belongings too.
Everything
correct?
but maybe your firstborn child.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've actually signed one of those one time.
In theory, they can come take almost everything but the shirt on your back and a few things like that.
So they're covered.
And of course, that's what some people say. Well, that's what bankruptcy is for. You can declare bankruptcy. Well, who wants to go through bankruptcy? That's kind of an unnecessary. And really, in my humble opinion, the federal government bailed out Wall Street, but what they do is send these federal regulators down to the local banks and still keep everybody's arm behind their back, twisting it, saying we want your personal financial statement and we want it to be accurate so that we know how much, that you've got an extra car or a piece of land, an extra motorcycle, or whatever your other assets might be, and they want to know what those are so that in case you get out of line, they can come take that.
Sure.
And personally, I think over the past 5 or 6 years, I've learned after getting hit in the mouth 3 or 4 times by these guys over this kind of stuff that it's a silly game to play. And it's unfortunate because I think there's a lot of business people in this community and certainly regionally and nationally that still feel like they have a boot on their neck because of these personal loan guarantees, and therefore they're not that excited about getting out of bed in the morning and going out and create new business. I'm going to go create new business so that this bank can come take everything I got.
So it's hurting.
I don't think so.
It's hurting business.
It's hurting business bad.
Yeah. And so, and here's the thing. I know a guy who. Small fish, not like you big developers, you and other guys in the community, but who had, a couple homes and a couple properties and whatever. And during the downturn, he got hit hard, just a working man. And he knew he was going to have to let go at least 2 of them because he couldn't, although he tried to work out some of the banks. He even had buyers on both properties and the bank wouldn't help him out at all. And at one point, the bank actually said, we'll help you. Here's a personal financial statement. Tell us what you got. And we'll see if we can get your refund. They didn't want to refinance it. They just want to know what he had. They want to know. It was a ruse to find out how deep their pockets were, how they get their money if they were coming after you. This whole thing was such a. I don't know, but I got to think that the stories have not yet been told. And before it's over one day, people are going to go to prison over this. It's going to be. I mean,
I think a lot of people thought that would have happened 4 or 5 years ago.
Yes.
And frankly, I think the you don't call it statutes of limitations might have kind of maybe run its course a little bit, and if not legally, certainly to some degree psychologically. Right. But that whether there was, there's no doubt there was a lot of fraud that probably went on Wall Street, but here we still are on Main Street struggling, and I think Ocala is finally kind of skipping off the bottom, and I think things are getting a little better.
You think they're getting better?
Well, there's now finally some residential housing construction. There's new home starts in a few communities.
You got anything going? Or
I don't have. I never was actually in the construction.
You're just in the real estate part of it?
I was in the land development business. I put in the horizontal infrastructure, the streets, and the utilities, et cetera, and usually sold lots to the builders. But I know that just straight across almost the street from where I live in Woodfield Crossing, which is located on Southeast 18th Avenue, now there's 4 or 5 houses under construction. I saw that. There. And as I understand it, there's about maybe 8 or 10 houses or so under construction over in Bellchase. And those are both, relatively close in location, close into the heart of Ocala.
Good properties too.
And they're more upper end, if you want to call it that. And I hear kind of a few people saying around town that there's a shortage of inventory for the upper end market. But the lower end market, which to some degree the lower end market is kind of a key stepping stone for first time buyers. That lower end market is still soft. There's still so much foreclosure activity, et cetera. That lower end market is still soft. There are pools of investor money evidently coming into those markets, buying up some of this foreclosure inventory and putting it into rental pools to rent the homes, because evidently the rental market's fairly tight and rent rates have gone up over the past couple of years.
Yeah, it seems to us. My guest is Dave Cope. He comes here today wearing many hats, not the least of which is the one he's going to talk about after the break, which is Monroe Regional being, I guess you could say, changing hands before it changes hands. There's a new operator now in the queue, a CHS, the company is Columbia, right? And I've got it here in front of me.
CHS, Community Health Systems.
Community Health Systems, okay. Anyway, it's now, I guess it got an agreement, we'll talk to you about this, got an agreement in principle to take over where Shands left off. Anyway, it's complicated.
Buddy, that's a kind of a ticklish question you're asking.
Why don't you hold it right there?
Okay.
I've got to go to the break. I want to be able to get, that's why I wanted you to come in and explain to us what is the procedure, and, as best you can. And there's a story in today, ocala.com. I'll ask you about that and see if you think this is accurate, and kind of give me a picture of where you think we need to go on this, because I think we're still kind of lost our way here on what's going on with the community. This is great that you can come in today and help us get through it and understand what the situation is. Is it Armageddon, or is it something better, or is it in the middle? So Dave Cope. Dave, how would I describe you as being a local businessman? Did I call you a developer, or what do I call you?
Well, my career in business in the Ocala area really started off as a real estate broker.
Okay.
Before that, anybody that's in real estate knows you have to get your agent's license and serve as a real estate sales associate for a couple of years, and then after that I went and took the classes and tests and all that to get my broker's license. For probably, I guess, 8 or 10 years I worked with Bob Drake. Bob and I started off, actually I came on board with Bob, and back in those days it was Bob Drake was a broker. The name of the company is Drake Properties, and it was Bob Drake, Sandy McBride, Holland Drake, and me.
That's a bunch of bandits right there, if I've ever heard it. No, they're good people. They're good people. And I'm going to just say right now that as far as your professional real estate man, you operate Maricamp Square, and we'll talk about that procedure. But I'm going to get to the hospital. A little about your background. You're obviously an ardent Gator fan. You got a little musical background we're going to talk about. We'll get that stuff from you next. Stay tuned to the Voice of Ocala. Dave Cope coming back on the other side right here on the Voice of Ocala.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Since 1976, Daniel L. Hightower, a lawyer, has been fighting for accident victim justice in North Central Florida and statewide. He believes everyone in America should follow the rules, including the insurance companies. He and his firm have experience fighting for victims of personal injury, wrongful death, workers' compensation, and Social Security disability, as well as serving those in need of help with bankruptcy, simple wills, and estate plans. The mission at the law offices of Daniel L. Hightower, PA, is to represent deserving clients and recover the maximum benefits they are entitled to by law in a timely manner. In personal injury and workers' compensation cases, there are no fees or costs unless a recovery is made. The law office of Daniel L. Hightower is located at 7 East Silver Springs Boulevard, Suite 300. For your free consultation, call 352-629-7777 or 1-888-LAW-1976 and visit danhightower.com for more information. Daniel L. Hightower, PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice, and the proud sponsor of Ask the Cops.
This reprise of Ask the Cops is proudly brought to you by Daniel L. Hightower, PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice since 1976. This is Marion County Sheriff Chris Blair's answer to a question posed by Buddy Martin.
If I had to rank top 3 types of crimes that you're dealt with, but after drugs, what are the other 2 or 3 that you guys would say take up most of your resources and your time?
Well, number one, certainly drugs is what's leading all crime. With the exception of homicide, where you may have a domestic violence type case and a husband kills the wife or vice versa. The ones that take time are the burglaries, the thefts, the auto burglaries.
That reprise of Ask the Cops was proudly brought to you by Daniel L. Hightower, lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice since 1976. Be sure to tune in to Ask the Cops the second and fourth Friday of every month during the 4 o'clock hour on the Voice of Ocala. Dr. Seaborn Hunt, a board-certified ophthalmologist in Ocala. There's no referral needed for an appointment. Call 873-7200, offering medical services for glaucoma management, including laser surgery to help lower your eye pressure and potentially reduce your dependency on eye drops. He also evaluates and treats diabetic retinopathy, one of the leading causes of blindness, with advanced imaging and laser procedure to help prevent vision loss. Dr. Hunt's office accepts most insurance and files claims for you. Call Dr. Hunt at 873-7200. That's 873-7200.
Your official news source, WOCA.
This is Wendy and Will of Dex Imaging. By now, you might be tired of hearing us talk about Dex. So instead of us telling you how much Dex can save you on your copier costs and how we can help your office be more efficient, we thought we'd let Judy tell you.
Hi, I'm Judy, the office manager of Graper Facial Institute here in Gainesville. We operate 8 medical offices, so I was looking for a document management system that would copy, scan, print, and share documents among all of our locations, but something that was within our budget. Dex Imaging recommended a Kyocera with their Index solution. It's been amazing. This machine does everything we need it to, including a direct scan into our current electronic medical record software. Dex even trained us on how to use it. Dex has been a tremendous help in making our practice and my job more efficient.
Thanks, Judy. And remember, call Dex Imaging today for a free workflow analysis to find out how you can save 20 to 30% on your copying and document management needs, just like Graper Facial Institute. Dex Imaging, 352-224-1816. That's 224-1816.
So what did you do with your weekend? Me? I was flying, because I'm taking flying lessons from Ocala Aviation. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, hey, I'd like to give that a shot, but I'm not quite sure. Well, I've got the solution. It's called the Discovery Flight, and that's exactly what it is. It helps you discover the wonder of flying and if it's for you. It's only $99, and it gives you the chance to learn a bit more about the airplane and then actually go for a ride with a flight instructor and take control of the airplane. That's how I got started, and now I'm on my way to being a pilot. Yeah, I know, scary thought, right? But the demand for qualified pilots is stronger than ever, and with the help of Ocala Aviation, you could make a career change and learn to be a commercial pilot. But it all starts with a Discovery Flight. So stop by the flight school, conveniently located at the Ocala Airport, visit the website at ocalaaviation.com, or call 861-7484. That's 861-7484. Ocala Aviation. Your adventure starts here.
Should have trained and run out of track. Can't you see? Oh, can't you see what that woman lost?
Sorry to turn that music off. Too bad that our guest couldn't have heard it, but he's a musician himself. By the way, somebody's being cute, throwing things against the wall. That's cool. That's really cool. Sharp, funny. Yeah, that's real funny. Throwing things. Yeah.
It must have been one of my banker friends.
It's, go get mall security. We'll take care of it. Okay. We'll take it care of. All right. Yeah. Don't be throwing things. Okay. Yeah. So the mall security will be right around to see you. Anyway, somebody being cute. Music. It's a side of you a lot of people don't know about. And I think you're a guitar player, as I recall.
That's right. I would call myself an intermediate to advanced acoustic guitar player, and I like a lot of different genres. I'm not big on heavy metal or a rap, but
you a Dave Matthews guy, or are you country?
I'm kind of more of an older country blues.
All right, like George Jones old, or
yeah, I like George Jones, Waylon Jennings,
Willie.
I love Willie Nelson stuff. One of my favorite songs I've been playing lately is Angel Flying Too Close to the Ground.
Okay, well, it's got some great ones.
If you would not have fallen.
Come on, bring it.
I would not have found you, angel flying too close to the ground.
Yes, I got a little George Jones in that right there. I could hear him, and a Good-Hearted Woman's a hard song to beat too. By the way.
Oh yeah, that's the greatest. Yeah. That's one of the best.
Yeah. So anyway, so you play a little music, and that keeps you sane. Read the other day that actually playing and listening to music extends your life. How about that? What I want to talk to you about now, though, is Monroe. We're a little bit confused. I, like a lot of other people who, like you, we have backgrounds here, and I grew to love Monroe and went through a number of things. My families were in Monroe, and I had children born in Monroe, and I had some of my closest relatives passed in Monroe. I've had surgery up there a couple of times, and I'm partial to it. You know what I mean? I understand it's not my personal hospital, but it feels like it's my hospital. Nothing wrong with Ocala Regional; they do a fine job, and I had my hip surgery done out west in the Westport Hospital. So the question is, though, we're a little bit lost. We know we all heard about, and you just came to the board just in the last year. A lot of this had already passed when you got there. But we're trying to figure out Monroe, do we want to keep it? How much does it cost? They all tell us the numbers don't project. It's going to cost us money out of our pocket. It's not a good business model. We got to lease it. We don't got to lease it, and so on. Bottom line was it got leased. Okay. Turned out to be Shands, correct? At least
well, it's actually a group that we've assigned a non-binding letter of intent, so it's not actually a done deal yet. It's a non-binding letter of intent we've signed with a hospital management company called
HMA.
Health Management Associates, HMA. They're based out of Naples, Florida.
Right.
They operate a total of, I think it's approximately 70 hospitals, 28 of which are in the state of Florida.
Okay.
And that's one of the main reasons we chose them. Not only were they the high bidder, we put out an RFP, request for proposals from hospital management companies. We didn't care if they were for-profit or not-for-profit, but we received a handful of proposals, and we narrowed it down in the end down to two. HMA was a high bidder at $200 million to lease it for 40 years.
Right.
On top of the $200 million commitment, cash up front, was also a commitment to build a $150 million master facilities upgrade, with basically a new wing on the hospital within the first 7 years of the lease. Which is a significant consideration also. So the total package on the thing was around $350 million.
Plus, I think, as I remember, Interfaith was going to get $1 million to that deal, right?
Correct. HMA had pledged when we closed the deal, there'd be a contribution made to Interfaith.
And I think the horse park might have gotten a little side.
There was another some kind of a pledge to the horse park. I believe you're right about that.
Or something like that, whatever it was.
And HMA, to give them some credit for that, I think they were aware of some of our community needs, and they were trying to play a smart, if you want to call it, political poker hand.
A little grease.
Yeah, exactly. So, Buddy, your confusion over any of this is probably quite typical, and I would even say to some degree, even I sit on the board of trustees for the hospital. I'm one of 7 hospital trustees for the Marion County Hospital District. We represent the citizens of Marion County, and then there's a bigger 13-member board, of which I'm also on that board, that basically is the MRHS board. In any case, the 7-member board is the one that really has to make the biggest decision in regard to moving forward and pursuing this lease with HMA. We have signed a letter of intent. The lawyers are at work now to try to iron out the wrinkles and come to an agreement over what's called a definitive agreement, which would essentially outline all of the fine details,
the fine print,
in the actual lease itself. And we were on track to try to get this all done before the end of the year. Sometime actually in late, I believe it was in November, was the original timeline. Mm-hmm. Well, all of this Wall Street gaming, if you want to call it that, with CHS has stepped up now to buy out HMA. HMA, there's a large shareholder, is a publicly traded company called Glenview Capital, owned approximately, I think it was 14.5% of HMA. And they didn't really like the way HMA was being managed and operated, and they made some kind of a power play. And I'm not I don't really understand all this Wall Street kind of operative, what kind of protocol they go through. But anyway, somehow
they fired their board.
They fired HMA's board and basically hired a new board. By what is going on over the wire that I get about this is that the new board is quite competent when it comes to healthcare management. That they're a competent new board.
Okay.
But still, there's been such a shift of management at HMA and a shift of control at HMA, that there's certainly a big concern there. So then after that was going on, the next thing you know, the bigger hospital company, CHS, which stands for Community Health Systems, comes in and makes a bid and actually strikes some sort of a deal to purchase HMA
to purchase HMA.
Okay. HMA,
who has the lease or agreement to have the lease?
That we've signed a letter of intent with, a non-binding letter of intent, but the CHS is agreed in some fashion to purchase HMA.
Okay.
Now, all of this has to be approved by SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. Also has to be approved by the shareholders of CHS, and I'm not sure exactly how that works with HMA.
Boy, that's getting confusing,
but it's a big-time poker game going on with all of that.
Yeah.
But here's what we did as trustees for the citizens of Marion County is we felt that we owe it not only to ourselves so we can sleep at night, but we owe it to the employees of the hospital, we owe it to the citizens of Marion County to investigate to the best we can who CHS is and just as you said, whether this is a good thing or a not so good thing.
Right.
So we took a trip last week.
That's what I want to ask you about, because you not only bring that information, but now you firsthand went up to see what CHS was all about. And you told me in our first conversation you didn't know what to expect, and you didn't expect to be blown away. But what happened when you went up there?
Well, the executive staff from Monroe Hospital, which the CEO Steve Purvis left about at the end of August. We've got an interim CEO, Rich Mutarelli, who he was for many years the CFO, and Rich is certainly a competent manager. We feel like he's doing a great job over there. But his senior staff level people went along with 3 trustees, myself, John Kurtz, who's the trustees chairman, and Joe Hanratty. And also along on the trip was our attorney, John Dean, and John's brother, Ed Dean, has come on board as a consultant to help us. He's actually, at this point, as far as I know, he's not being paid anything. But I'll tell you, Ed Dean, of course, everybody knows him as a sheriff from Marion County for many years.
But very involved in a lot of things in the community.
He's very involved. His heart is in the right place, and Ed has really stepped in to play a role in this process. It's a very positive role. So that team of people, I think there was 9 of us that went to Fort Wayne, Indiana, to look at a hospital up there that's operated by Community Health Systems.
Yeah.
We were very impressed with what we saw there, the people we talked to. We talked to doctors, nurses. Also from Monroe, Pam Michelle went. She's head of director of nursing at Monroe Hospital. So she got to talk to the director of nursing at the Lutheran Hospital in Fort Wayne, Indiana, operated by CHS. By the way, this is a large hospital facility. But the people up there just seemed like they were great people, and they all spoke highly of this management system that Community Health Systems utilizes. They basically operate autonomously in Fort Wayne. It's not, the hospital is not called Community Health Systems. It's called Lutheran Hospital System of Fort Wayne, something like that. So they never changed the name of the hospital. CHS purchased it, I think, in some transaction from another hospital management company that had bought it 18 years ago. But at the end of the discussion with those people, everything seemed very positive. Then we got on a plane and flew over to Valparaiso, Indiana, and went to a brand new hospital there that CHS had just built and opened in 2012. And it was a rather large facility. I think it cost $250 million to build, something like that. We were very, of course, impressed with a new facility like that. But more importantly, we were more impressed with the attitude and the staff at that hospital, management staff all the way down through nursing and doctors. Everybody was very complimentary of the system that CHS comes and puts into place. And basically they say they allow us to do our business and to be top performers, and they challenge us to be top performers, and they challenge us to produce quality outcomes. And so there's in any hospital there's measurements made of the patient outcomes. If you go in and you have a heart procedure done, they track you to see what the outcome of that procedure is. And so there are statistical metrics taken for every hospital, and these hospitals are performing very well up there. You can tell that the people there take pride in their hospital.
Well, that's a good thing. Now you're telling me, and we're just getting close to having to stop, but you're telling me what I hear you say is you like what you saw.
We were very impressed. I'll tell you, the whole team that went up there from Monroe, I think to the man, every single one of us was impressed with what we heard and what we saw, and the if you want to call it, the feel for their culture.
Yeah.
And then we went to Franklin, Tennessee, and met their CEO, Wayne Smith, along with a few other executives, and they spoke favorably about their appetite to not only pursue the finality of a deal with purchasing HMA, but spoke favorably about the Monroe Hospital. They hope would be in that portfolio.
I guess so. It's a crown jewel, man.
So we all love Monroe. I was born there, buddy.
Me too.
Everybody loves Monroe Hospital. We don't want, we nobody really wants to see things change.
Right. Well, they got to change. We all know this has to change. But the question is acceptable change, and can we expect the quality health care for that we've gotten at Monroe? And are we going? What you said most impressed me the most was the people in Franklin who really were on board. The team, they seemed like they were upbeat and they were efficient, and they seemed like they were on their game. That's what I want to hear.
CHS operates currently 135 hospitals across the country, most of which is in the eastern seaboard. They don't have but one hospital presently in the state of Florida, but if they buy HMA and pick up 70 more hospitals, they'll be the largest hospital operator in America.
I'm not all that impressed with that, because I'm on the mind that, like banks, sometimes bigger is not better. But that's just my personal opinion. They obviously know how to do it. To me, that's small. The decisions can be made on the ground here independently. Sometimes you're better, but that's just me.
Well, I tend to agree with you about from top to bottom, from A to Z. I agree with your philosophy about that. I wish we didn't have Walmarts. I'd rather we still went back to the days where we all went to the hardware store downtown. But obviously things have changed. But I'll say this about what I saw with CHS is that they allow for the local hospital to be operated relatively autonomously with a local board, with the input from a local board.
So the trustees will stay in place somewhat, or a group of trustees.
That's correct.
That's critical.
And hopefully, if this deal closes, the trustees will then be entrusted with the money that comes out of this deal, which will be in excess of $200 million that we'll put into some type of foundation that if we can grow that foundation, we can do grants for different types of healthcare-oriented efforts in this community to hopefully bring up the health of our general population.
Now you're talking.
Exactly.
That's what we need to do, because one way or the other, however you want to say it, Obamacare or negligent care or whatever, we have to pay for it. It's not free. That's the thing. People say, well, we have a lot of indigent care. Monroe, that's one of the things that's why hospitals are stopping. They don't have birth babies anymore, because they don't want to have to put up with indigent care. And this, of course, is the whole problem. But our community has a responsibility, a moral responsibility, to take care of people somehow. How we finance that, I don't know, but what you just said makes a lot of sense, and I hope that's what comes about. So, and by the way, if the model works, put it in Silver Springs while you're at it too. Let me get a couple of things in real fast to you. I know you're the absolute devoted Gator fan.
Chomp chomp.
How do you feel about the team so far?
Well, buddy, you probably keep close tabs on this and got your finger on the pulse. Obviously, this last game was a little unnerving with Jeff Driscoll going down, but I think we were pleasantly surprised by the performance. I know his last name is Murphy. What's his first
Tyler
name?
Murphy.
Tyler Murphy. I think we were all impressed with that. In fact, in some ways, he looked as athletic with his running ability as Driscoll does, but that can be scary if he gets out and scrambles much in the SEC. Who have we got sitting on the bench behind him?
Yeah, not much. And by the way, he knows how to slide.
Right.
Did you hear what Steve Spurrier said about him? Spurrier watched him on TV last week.
What did he say?
He watched him over to Crescent Beach. He said, the most impressive player I saw the whole weekend was Tyler Murphy.
Awesome. Steve Spurrier said that. That means something.
Yeah.
But really, in a nutshell, one thing I really look at on the Gators this year is they got an outstanding defense, and I think we've been impressed with their defense so far.
No doubt about it.
And a lot of times, if you've got a pretty tough defense like that, you're going to win some ball games. But we've got a heck of a schedule this year.
Just don't make mistakes on offense and turn it over. Then your defense can't do much for you.
Getting through LSU and Georgia are going to.
It's going to be a tough. It's going to be a tough season. But I like Tyler Murphy. I think in many ways he's.
Hey, but my buddy on the hospital board, Joe Hanray's a big FSU fan. He's already given me all this grief about how FSU, what they're going to do to us this year.
Talking smack.
And I keep reminding Joe that, I thought you guys had a great football team last year. You had all these guys who went to the NFL. and what did you guys do to the Gators last year? I said, don't start giving me all that lip.
Boy, we're getting the trash talking already. Just remember, though, Jameis Winston is a heck of a football player for FSU. All right, real quick. We got about 30 seconds. We share a common bond in Israel. We both attend Hope Church, which does a lot in this community. Yep. I don't talk about it too much because but your thoughts about Hope and what they're trying to do there. What I love about them is the goal is they're trying to raise money to do what? Not big buildings, but in fact take money and give it away to the community to help people.
Well, I really believe in Hope Church, and Mark Cummins is a great pastor and great leader at Hope Church, and there's some great people that go there. I think that's where Buddy and I met, and I met a lot of other great people there, and I think it's we've got some fantastic people in Ocala and some fantastic organizations and churches. And if anybody out there listening has time at 9 o'clock or 11 o'clock on Sundays to come down to Hope Church, I'm telling you, Mark Cummins is a great pastor, and he'll knock your socks off and get you fired up. And I think Hope Church, along with many other churches in this community, are doing a lot of good things out there. And it's no doubt, Hope Church has made a difference in my life. And I hope to keep going there and see more good things happen there.
Mark Cummins is going to send you a check. That's good stuff. And I like the fact, as you said, it's for all churches, and of course Hope supports all churches. So there's not just one brand here. We want all the churches to succeed. David, it's been a really entertaining half hour. Will you come back sometime? And
I'd love to, buddy.
Talk a little more. And
this has been enjoyable for me too. And I don't know how many folks are listening out there.
At least let me count. How many? What are we up to now?
We got 51 confirmed listeners. But at any one time we may have 4 or 5 listeners.
Did we crack 50?
We didn't have 50 people that have heard the show.
2 years we got.
But at any one time, I guarantee you 4 or 5 people are listening.
If the wind's blowing right on the signal, I have to get that right too.
Well, I'm not counting the 3 or 4 people that get the signal, get the speaker here.
We're counting the people who walk by here. That's our audience too. So we might be 55 or 60 today. You never know.
Well, hopefully they're movers and shakers. They get out there and spread the word. I think Ocala is a great town to live in, buddy, and it's moving in the right direction right now. But we've been down in a hole for a few years here. But we're climbing out of it, but hey, thanks for inviting me down.
Thank you. I didn't get to the part about Lake Weir and your family history. Next time we'll talk more about that because I know there's a lot there. So you just got too many things going on, Cope.
I'd love to come back and brag on how many quail my dad killed when I was growing up down in the Weirsdale, Lake Weir area.
Okay.
I think he's got to hold the record.
I'm sure you must. David, it's good to be with you, my friend. Talk to you soon. All right, we'll take a break, come back. Lots more to come on the program. Stay tuned to the Voice of Ocala. 1370 AM.
96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Having the motivation and making the commitment to quit smoking is a great first step towards becoming smoke-free. However, anyone who's tried to quit smoking knows how challenging it can be. Having the determination to quit may not be enough. You may need some help. If you're ready to quit smoking and are between the ages of 18 and 75, currently smoke 10 or more cigarettes a day, and can commit to participating for 24 weeks, you may be interested in a research study which is being conducted to evaluate the use of investigational drugs to see if they can aid individuals in their quest to quit smoking. To help you quit, smoking cessation counseling and all study-related medical care will be provided at no extra cost. You may also be reimbursed for your travel time. To receive more information about this study, how you can participate, please call Rinstar Medical Research in Ocala at 352-629-5800. That's Rinstar Medical Research in Ocala, 352-629-5800.
Recently, I had a great conversation with General Manager Pat Murray on the special events at Country Club of Ocala.
We have a lot of events, special events here that are geared towards the family. Easter comes to mind. We have an Easter bunny who hops around on the driving range, and we usually hide somewhere in a neighborhood of 3,000 eggs and turn them loose and let them go harvest the eggs. We have a great family celebration here on the 4th of July where it's a traditional cookout, if you will. And as the sun goes down, the driving range becomes alive with probably one of the better fireworks displays in the area. Breakfast with Santa is a big deal.
Country Club of Ocala, where the Easter Bunny, Santa, and all the children, large and small, are a big deal on every special occasion. For more information, call 352-237-6644. That's 352-237-6644. Country Club of Ocala, proud sponsor of the Monday Gator Report right here on The Source.
Sign up for this year's Marion County Heart Walk and be part of a local movement that's helping others live longer, healthier lives. Join Chairman Dr. Jim Henningsen and walk with us on Saturday, October 5th at Baseline Road Trailhead. It's a free event promoting physical activity and heart-healthy living. To find out how you can help the fight against the #1 killer of all Americans, visit us online at MarionHeartWalk.org.
Hey, it's Christy with Ocala Mac and PC Repair and Ocala Guest Wi-Fi to let you know we have you covered. We are the only local certified Apple and Microsoft computer company in Ocala. We are family owned and operated. From mobile repair to wireless networks, viruses, new systems, or security cameras, we do it all. Check us out online, ocalamacpc.com, or give us a call, 352-566-8324.
Tell them Nick, Madison, or Mason sent you and get free diagnostic.
Get your internet telephone service from the company that brought affordable internet service to Ocala in the first place. All Is Safe is a sister company of Ocala Guest Wi-Fi, a company you've known and trusted for all your internet needs. Whether you need a phone or hundreds, we've got the products and services to meet your needs both now and in the future. Our plans include everything from local and long-distance calling to equipment maintenance and even software upgrades. You can count on All Is Safe to give you cost certainty knowing that your bill will be the same next week, next month, or even next year. Call 352-450-8647 today to learn how to cut your monthly telephone bill up to 60%.
The difference at Ocala Eye is evident in everything we do for you. It shows in our commitment to provide the latest technology and procedures for people interested in LASIK surgery. Here's Janine, a teacher who had LASIK surgery at Ocala Eye.
To be a teacher and to be able to see each individual child and their facial features and every little hair on their head is amazing. And to see their freckles, their eyes, just to see everything in high def is absolutely amazing. It's like discovering a whole other world.
And during September, Ocala Eye will give you $250 off if you qualify as a candidate for LASIK surgery. Ocala Eye is located in Ocala and the Villages.
It is a tremendous change to not have to get up and worry about what I'm going to see, what I'm going to do, where I'm going to go, what am I going to do with my glasses, or which child is going to snatch them off today. It's wonderful.
Call Ocala Eye today to see if you're a candidate for LASIK surgery at 352-671-1040 and see why more people are saying Ocala Eye looks out for me.
Oh, but who are they to judge us? Simply cause our hair is long. Oh, you know we've got to bring some understanding here today.
Oh, JJ's spinning some good tunes today, man. Good stuff. Going a little old school. Marvin Gaye, right, then?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. You know, every now and then we stumble upon something more than we deserve. Dave Cope is a really interesting guy. And I've known David for a couple of years, and he's done a lot in this community, been involved in business and different things. And just during the break, I find out we're both working on parallel projects and didn't even know it. Same kind of thing. But I love this discovery of people like that and learning more about them. It's just a good lesson. And going over today to CF, College of Central Florida, talking to Rob Marino's class, we're talking about this. They're all assigned to do profiles of each other. We talked about what do you know about this person and what do you need to know and what kind of questions do you have to know. And just we went around the room, JJ, and we just asked, okay, who are you writing about? And what do you know about him? And what do you know about her? And so on. And just in that short period of time, there's 4 or 5 kids in there. They're really interesting people. But we would never known that if we haven't asked them, about who they are, what their background is, what their passion is. And I just say that because sometimes there's little hidden gems and people that are in this community that do so many things that you have no idea just how deep their commitment goes and their ideas are and what their kindred spirits are. And so it was a pleasure for me to have Dave Cope on. Been wanting to have him for a long time. And he's a guy we'll have back, and we'll be talking more to him about that. So, meanwhile, I got to think about this, fellas. The man in the mall is not really Austin. The man in the mall is the name of his term. It comes from the old newspaper term or television, man on the street. And the man on the street is the people who are walking by and you're talking to. They're the man on the street. It could be a woman, but it's called man on the street. In fact, it's referred to in the business as M-O-S, man on the street. So we went man in the mall because, obviously it's not the street. So, but the man in the mall is not Austin, he's just the guy who is talking to the man in the mall and the women in the mall. So just to get that straight. So, but he did some outstanding work yesterday. And, we set him out there to talk about some of the issues, to talk to people, because we love interaction with people, because that's what we're about here on the show. And we're finding here in our new studio over here that we're getting a chance to talk to a lot of people, except for a few idiots who like to throw things at the plate glass window. That'll be taken care of. Tom was on the case on that. But talking to people, and Austin went out yesterday, and Austin, I think, will be in at 5 o'clock. And he asked a question. One of Tom's big pet peeves was that people don't know the first 5 presidents.
People don't know history, but that's part of it.
And we got to thinking about that the other day, and JJ and I struggled ourselves. Because I guarantee you that most people do not know the first 5 presidents. Now, not to say they didn't know them at one time in their life, and they didn't know the first 15 presidents. But time does wear your memory down a little bit, and you can't always recite. However, Tom makes a good point about, we should know our history. I might be willing to go for the fact that maybe somebody knows who the vice president of America is right now, considering some of the people we talked to.
Dan Quayle.
Yeah. So the questions on the floor were, we sent Austin out to talk to the man in the mall and the women in the mall. He came back, and we asked 3 different kinds of questions. I'm not sure if we'll talk about all of them today, but we're out of time. But one of them was the possibility of a Mountain League baseball team coming to Ocala. Would you support a 0.5-cent sales tax referendum to make that happen? 20 people he talked to. 10 people said yes, and 10 said no. Combined with our previous polling, that now makes 22 people have said no, 18 people are saying yes. So it's going to turn out to be about 50-50 on that question. And we're going to continue on with that. Now, in terms of America's first 5 presidents, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take a break. I'll come back and tell you. You're going to be shocked at the number of how many out of 20 got the first 5 and what some of the other names were that they guessed. So we'll do that next on the Voice of Ocala.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz. The Angie Lewis State Farm Agency is located at 1122 Northeast 36th Avenue, where visitors are always welcome and the coffee pot is always on.
This week, be sure to follow the Florida State Seminoles as they take on the Boston College Eagles Saturday afternoon at 3:30 right here on WOCA, The Source.
Tom James, it's Friday night again. Time for the Marion County Friday Night High School Game of the Week, brought to you by the McDonald Agency. 2 teams going in 2 different directions.
0-4 Westport looking for a strong defense to match against double tough 3-1 Leesburg.
That's right, Tom James. Looks like a game on paper that Leesburg should win easily.
We'll see. Friday night, 7 o'clock pregame, 7:30 kickoff.
Right here on the Marion County Friday Night High School Game of the Week, presented by the McDonald Allstate Agency.
WOCA, The Source. Getting a head start in learning to read is more important now than ever for our young children. The Reading Pals program of Marion County pairs up reading mentors with struggling kindergartners and helps them get up to speed in their most important years. But they need volunteers. If you'd like to be a Reading Pal, call Jan Hathaway at the United Way at 732-9696. That's 732-9696. Be a Reading Pal today.
Yes, George. George, you're all wet.
I went to Devon Self-Storage and put back my fishing gear.
Okay. You know Devon Self-Storage is open early and you had all day to bring your fishing gear back. And they're right across from Hobby Lobby.
I know. I have my own code to get into Devon Self-Storage. And their phone number, too, is 873-0777.
So why did you wait till it started raining?
I didn't. I slipped getting the boat out of the water.
Boat?
Bye!
George?
On the next AM Ocala Live, Robin and I will be speaking to New York Times best-selling author Carla Neggers. Her new book is called Declan's Cross.
Dr. Gregory Saranian is an orthopedic surgeon and a patient safety advocate. He is going to be speaking about how to communicate with your orthopedic surgeon to help ensure a successful surgery.
And then we put news back in News Talk. When we do News Bites, these are the hottest news items right off the press, and we deliver them to you bite-sized.
Join the veterans in our community on Veterans News with Hank Whittier.
Roger Gilmore will be on at 10:05. He'll be in the studio. He's the executive director of Covenant Children's Home, providing all of the stable elements of a traditional family for children who are in need of a place to call home.
Kip Snyder is a beerologist. He'll be giving us an introduction to beer.
And then Nicholas Gutierrez is coming on. He's an attorney, the volunteer state chairman of the Florida Energy Forum, and he's coming out to speak about the pros and cons of the Keystone XL pipeline. All of that plus Fun with Joe on the next AM Ocala Live right here on the Source WOCA 96.3 FM.
1370 AM.
Look who just walked in the room, Joel Wiesner from What's Up Ocala. Hey, Joel, I'm looking for something to do this weekend. You got any ideas?
Absolutely. Check out our event calendar online at www.whatsupocala.com, and there is plenty of events there for you. Daily news updates to event reviews and magazine articles.
Really?
We've organized it all in one place online for you to cut through all of the hassle of finding something to do this weekend. We have a daily event calendar, a bi-monthly magazine, and we also do daily news articles.
All right, Joel, that's perfect. Thanks so much.
Yeah, whatsupocala.com.
Just to make this dock my home. Now I'm just gonna sit at the dock of a bay, watching.
That comes up with Otis Redding, for crying out loud. He is really pulling out the beauty of the gems. Okay, the stat man himself is here. Austin Statman. Also, he's not the man in the mall, but he is the one who goes out and talks to the men in the mall and the women in the mall. His research yesterday indicated, and I'm going to go with this first. Austin went out and got samples. We told you about the poll regarding the people who were voting, so they would vote for a half-cent sales tax for the stadium. Now, America's first 5 presidents. And so, Austin, give me a 30-second scenario. You asked them if they could name the first 5 presidents of the United States, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so some people even offered some guesses of names that were probably not very reasonable. Were you shocked at this result, by the way?
If I wouldn't have heard Tom sing before earlier, I probably would have been, but since I heard what he said, no.
All right, Tom, you want to take a guess how many out of 20 knew?
I would say 7% was the regular poll, so I'd say probably 2 out of 20.
2 out of 20.
2 out of 20. Wow. Knew the 5 presidents.
That would be low. JJ.
Yeah, that sounds about right. 10%.
You guys don't have much faith in the.
No, I saw the result. I don't remember it, but it was.
Oh, you saw it. Well, that makes a difference.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, this is in fact 2 out of 20. And beyond that, which is shocking. I mean, but on the other hand, JJ, we didn't go to come up with it either.
I wasn't able to do it.
So
the fact that 10% of people asked where only 10% of people asked could tell you the first 5 presidents of the United States is a travesty.
Well, it's a memory thing too. Anyway, the second thing was, this is a little shocking, that 13 out of 20 could name Washington. Now, come on.
That's all they can do.
Should be 99%.
You got it. It'll be 100 on Washington, right?
The next one's worse.
And the answers, that what you mean? The answers?
No, 7 out of 20 people just didn't say anything. I said, can you name me the first 5 presidents? No. Well, can you name one?
Yeah.
No.
That is terrible.
It must be the interviewer doing it. No, I'm just kidding. So the names they threw out were, of course we know who they were. Tom, if you want to give them to us again. I can only tell you who they were.
I know them now. Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe.
Right. And so, and then
John Quincy Adams, Andrew Jackson, Martin.
All right, now you're showing off.
Yeah.
Okay. Some of the names mentioned of the first 5 were Grant, Franklin, Jackson, Lincoln, and Roosevelt.
And Franklin was never a president.
Yeah. All right, we got to go to the next question. Now, Supreme Court. Maybe we'll save this for tomorrow.
Yeah, save it for tomorrow because we got 30 seconds.
And we got.
I got to be able to make fun of somebody for a good amount of time.
Yeah, let's do it tomorrow. Let's go with tweets and quotes.
All right. Well, they'll save who good America gets independence from, and also the Supreme Court justice.
10 seconds, buddy. Can you get it in?
Go. I'd rather be a failure at something that I love than a success in something I hate. George Burns. Number 2, there's nothing so pitiful as a young cynic because he's gone from knowing nothing to believing nothing. Maya Angelou. And finally, I need to live forever. So far, so good. Stephen Wright. There you go. That'll do it. Stay tuned for the sports page. A lot coming your way, including a report from Edgar Thompson, who covered the Gators for the Orlando Sentinel, about what's happening up in the quarterback situation in Florida. Stay tuned to
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Hi, this is Lisa Midget, owner of Kinetic Motion Fitness here in Ocala, Florida. A lot of you have experienced our great classes in personal and small group training, but did you know we now offer dynamic workouts on DVD? These high-quality, locally produced, effective DVD workouts can go where you go. Going on vacation? No problem. We can go with you. Friends and relatives out of town who are jealous that you get to come to KMF? No problem. We ship anywhere in the United States for free. Our great lineup of 4 DVDs includes Kinetic Achieve, Kinetic Couples, Kinetic Core, and Kinetic Campus. 4 great workouts for the entire family on DVD. Sound interesting? Check them out on our website at kmfocala.com. While you're there, check out our class schedule and come see us. We're only 5 minutes from downtown across from the Skylark Plaza. Visit kmfocala.com and like us on Facebook. KMF will get you results at our studio or at home with one of our DVDs. Kinetic Motion Fitness. We're ready when you are. Visit kmfocala.com for more information.
Hi, this is Buddy Martin. If you have an award or a trophy in your house, there's more than a good chance it came from BJ Trophies Gifts and Awards. At BJ Trophies, Floyd Hirschberger and his staff have a lot more than just trophies. Among the items they specialize in are donor recognition walls and trees, personalized or engraved gifts, cast bronze dedication plaques, wide format digital printing with posters, banners, and signs, and promotional products. Floyd is the official trophy and awards maker for the Voice of Ocala radio show and is North Central Florida's leader in custom recognition programs, corporate awards, industrial engraving, unique gifts, and advertising specialties. When Angie Lewis went shopping for something to award to the winners of her State Farm Good Neighbor Award, she shopped first at BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Check them out at 1735 Northeast Jacksonville Road on North Magnolia's Miracle Mile, or call them today at 352-732-2249. BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Trophies is just our middle name.
Hi, this is Tom Schmitz, the host of Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA. The Saturday Sports Page is your weekend destination for everything sports, from NASCAR to golf, baseball to boxing, and of course the best, most comprehensive football coverage on the radio. Also, you don't want to miss my weekly Are You Kidding Me rant? So join me and JJ LaSalva every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA, The Source.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
If you get a migraine, try to hug your family more often or your pets. The chemical oxytocin, which is released when we hug a loved one, it can cut the intensity of a migraine headache in half. Today, a lot of people think that flirting via text message is as bad as cheating in real life. Comedies may get us laughing and help us forget our pain for a few minutes, but sad songs and movies actually help us get over the pain much quicker.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Hi, this is Joe, and I'm your host for the new show, Damage Control, every Tuesday morning at 10:30 a.m., brought to you by Damage Control Services. We're going to be discussing floods, fires, storm and tree damage, sinkholes, mold, and many other disasters that you need to know about, how to prevent and prepare for them, as well as what to do when it happens and what to expect after it happens. This is Damage Control, Tuesdays at 10:30, right here on The Source.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, CEO of Gateway Bank, inviting you to drop by our main office on Silver Springs Boulevard every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for the Community Gazette, a 3-hour show focusing on our favorite community to live and work, Ocala, Marion County. Come join us with the voice of Ocala, Buddy Martin, in the new old-fashioned bank radio studio as we discuss a variety of interesting topics on the Community Gazette on WOCA, The Source.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're ocalaforsale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to ocalaforsale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Phoenix Promotional Solutions, your company supplier of banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Where you give them approved artwork by noon, the next day by 4 p.m., you pick up your banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404. That's 368-2404. Don't forget, they do vehicle wraps also. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404.
You're listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
Now, I'm Daria Albinger. It's such a big part of our lives, it may be hard to believe that some people never use the internet. A Pew Research Center study says about 15% of Americans don't, and most prefer it that way. Nearly everyone who does go online now uses broadband. Heads up, bosses, despite common belief, money is not the key to employee happiness. A study by hiring software provider CanGrade revealed that being intellectually stimulated is the most important aspect of an employee's job satisfaction. An attorney for the producer of Michael Jackson's This Is It concert says the pop star's death was caused by his own bad choices. The lawyer said so in his closing arguments for the wrongful death lawsuit that Jackson's family slapped on the promoter. Holy moly, there's a lot of derm apps out there. Some are to educate, others to actually let you snap pictures of your skin and send it to a doctor, and that has a lot of dermatologists worried. The journal JAMA Dermatology says if you have questions about your skin, it's best to actually go to the office. This is ABC News.
Come on, sweetie, jump to Dad.
I'm not sure, Daddy. The water's cool.
There are moments in life that cause us to hesitate. Jump right here.
Okay. Here I come.
I got you. Good job.
I did it. That was fun.
But once we take action, we're really glad that we did. If you're thinking about selling your home, don't hesitate. Interest rates are low and buyers are in the market. Every market's different. Call a Realtor today and visit Realtor.com. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
Hello. Eyes on the road, I'll talk, you drive. Just wanted to pop in to remind you that every Honda certified used car comes with an outstanding limited warranty. And you know what they say about outstanding limited warranties? They're outstanding. Anyway, just letting you know in case you were thinking about upgrading. And if you're not thinking about it, you should be. Honda certified used cars are awesome. And you do like awesome, don't you? Of course you do, because you're awesome. All right, I'm out of here. Oh, and see your Honda dealer for limited warranty details.
How much time? 30 seconds. I'm on right now. I don't believe you.
Okay. Enough kidding around.
Ho, 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 ho.
And now it's time for the Buddy Martin Sports Page.
He actually had me stay here last night in his gym.
It's like I don't fit in. It's like I don't belong here.
Let's go talk to a couple of guys that never gamble.
Oh, see, I made Lewis a bet here. See, Lewis bet me that we couldn't both get rich and put you on the Full House at the same time. He didn't think we could do it.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
And now, here's Buddy.
It's that time again for a Buddy Sports Page. This one on a Wednesday. What is it again, Tom?
Hump Day.
And we're here with you every weekday from 3 to 6 and sports from 5 to 6. And if you want to catch up on the latest, we'll have that for you in a moment. JJ, give us the headlines. Going to talk about last night's television shows, and one I saw that I thought was exceptional. If you haven't seen it and you're a sports fan, or you even a fan of good people, you have to watch this special.
By the way, I didn't watch we didn't talk about it today. Blacklist, amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be great. James,
really amazing.
This is a show called The Book of Manning.
Oh, that was great.
It really blew me away. So we'll talk about that. And meanwhile, also, guys, we talked about who is Paul Dietzel. Remember? Or do you remember that conversation?
LSU. We do. LSU coach, 58 national championship.
Okay, nobody. We got a zip. We got shut out. Nobody knew at the table. Around the water cooler guys all struck out. I put it on my Facebook. I've had quite a few responses, including a great story written by Bill Rabinovitz from the Columbus newspaper. And he wrote a piece in 2007 when Ohio State played LSU. Really good story, including a piece about Dietzel, and interviewed Dietzel and the great Billy Cannon run and what have you. I've got that piece. I emailed it to two of you. I don't know if you got it yet or not. JJU.
Yes.
And do read that because it's part of football lore you'll have to know about. Well, and we're going to get Mr. Rabinowitz on next week. His book on Urban Meyer is coming out in about 10 days.
Whoa.
So it's really on the season last year, not on Urban so much. So, meanwhile, I've got headlines going on, and JJ LaSalva is here to give them to you.
The Tampa Bay Rays win again, this time against a fellow contending team in the wild card.
I bet them Rays, JJ.
Yes, 7-0 against the Yankees last night. Matt Moore pitched a pretty good game.
Joyce hit a bomb.
Yep, to lead off the 3-0 game.
Starting to get some base hits for a change.
The Rays are starting to play well. They won 5 in a row. So
that's when you won them.
And the Indians have won 5 in a row. So Texas still a game out. The Rays pretty much they're 2 games up, so they pretty much have it locked in. I wouldn't say, well, not locked in, but they look a lot better than.
Can we officially say the Yankees are done?
Yeah,
please?
The Yankees are pretty much done. Also in Tampa today, interesting move by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
How about
they benched their former starting quarterback, Josh Freeman. For rookie from North Carolina State, Mike Glennon.
Greg Schiano said Monday that Josh Freeman was his starting quarterback.
Well,
that was
didn't
Monday.
Feel like that on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So they will be playing against the Arizona Cardinals coming up. And Urban Meyer announced he will have co-starting quarterbacks, whatever that means.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it means. They both in the first play. They're both in the lineup, and then one goes to the bench, and Braxton Miller plays the first couple series. That's my guess.
Yeah, that's what they did last year with Driscoll. And the Cleveland Browns have announced that Brian Hoyer. They're just throwing in the towel, buddy. Brian Hoyer will be their starting quarterback.
Hoyer drove him down the field and won last week.
That's true.
Beyond that.
The Vikings.
Beyond that, they're tanking it, obviously, and they're looking for that first-round draft pick, right?
Jadeveon. They're also looking for a quarterback. Obviously, Brandon Whedon isn't what they thought he was going to be when they drafted.
And then some.
Yes.
Well, that's pretty interesting
mostly
stuff.
Quarterback talk today.
Yeah, you know what's happening, JJ, is this. I thought about this today. What happens is when you don't win, the pressure starts getting on the head coach. And then if you don't win again, the coach puts it on the quarterback.
Yeah,
that's kind of how it goes.
He has to do something.
Yeah, and the coach, quarterbacks get all the glory when things are going well, and then the first ones to go when things go bad.
Schiano's on the chopping block too.
Well,
not a good couple years.
I will say this: I don't know if chopping block's the right word. Let's just say he's not exactly going to be up for another contract. Okay, so he's definitely got some things to turn around. Now, look, 3 games does not make a season here. Okay,
well, last season he didn't. They weren't very good at all. Freeman's been a huge disappointment since he's regressed.
He's regressed.
Yes.
He had a better year 2 years ago than he had last 2 years. He's really regressed. So the Bucks, that's not pretty out there for the Bucks right now. Anything else in the news?
No, that's about it.
Okay. Coming up in the next hour, I'll talk about next 40 minutes. I'll talk about how this thing is going with the APU. You guys remember this APU thing? These players who made some kind of demonstration about wanting more attention from the NCAA regarding their health care of them, and also the money situation. We'll talk about that. At least one player from Athens thinks it's a bad idea. We'll discuss that for a moment.
Thinks it's a bad idea.
Bad idea, yeah. And then watching last night the Book of Manning, which I thought was extremely well done. I had several things that occurred to me that just when you see it all at one time, you tend to forget about things until you see it all and you focus on it at one time and say, oh, gosh, I forgot about that, It's even simple things like, and we blew past this question yesterday, unfortunately, when Tom James said around the water cooler, are the Colts sorry they got rid of Peyton Manning? I had to stop and think, wait a minute, Colts. Oh, yeah, he was with the Colts, wasn't he, And so I'm thinking now, we talk about these great matchups. We're talking about, maybe Seattle and Denver. But I can't wait to see if the Colts and the Broncos go head-to-head in the playoffs. That would be a beautiful thing because Peyton right now is just salivating for a chance to get back to his old team and burn them big time. And the other thing is, you know about Archie Manning? You know much about his career? You know what kind of player he was? Anything at all you guys know?
I know he played for the Aints. Played for Ole Miss.
I know he played for Ole Miss. I know he played for New Orleans, and he's a pretty good passer. The only problem was New Orleans had no offensive line, so Archie had to run for his life, and that because of that, injury shortened his career.
Oh, by the way, I'm getting breaking news that Dominique Easley is probably going to be out for the remainder of the year.
Well, that's unusual considering this just this morning that Will Muschamp said he had tweaked his knee and would be all right. So now they're saying, well, Edgar Thompson might know that. We'll talk to him in a few minutes. I had not heard that. That's a big blow to this defense. Because I heard the guy say yesterday on the show, he tweeted, I guess I'll tell you it was the guy from Georgia who does Pollock.
David Pollock.
Said he's the most important player on any defense in America. That's what he said. Now, if Easley's lost, and that's true, what's the source of that, JJ?
Yahoo.
And it's Coach Muschamp said
Mark Long, by the way.
Right, Mark Long, AP. Coach
8 minutes ago.
Coach Muschamp said he tweaked it and would be back, but Dominic Easley himself said he's done for the season.
Wow.
Mark Long quoted Dominic Easley as saying, I'm done for the season.
Well, we need to get a hold of Mark, too. So that's bad news for Gator fans right there, man. Bad. Mark Long reporting that
I'm going to try to get Mark
Dominic
on the radio
Easley,
right now.
Dominic Easley gone for the year. He's finished up, gone for his career's over at Florida.
Could be without defensive tackle.
Okay,
for the
let's
remainder of the year.
well, now that's a different story. That's a different story. So we got it.
That's what he's saying, but Dominic Easley says, I'm done for the year.
Okay, well, I get that, and I trust Mark Long. He's a very good reporter. I'm just curious as to why this morning Muschamp said he just tweaked his knee, and somebody said, what's a tweak? I don't remember reading it myself. This is not good. Just about the time you thought you found yourself a little quarterback.
This is what he said on his Twitter page. He said, Gator Nation, thanks for all of 4 years of sticking with me, but God has something else planned for, and have no worries. So,
wow.
Yep.
Well, that's not him saying he's.
That's a little bit bigger than Driscoll if he is going for the year.
Oh yeah, he's the heart of the defense. Like I said, Pollock said he thought he was the most important player on any defense in the country, and that's how crucial this guy is. That is a huge thing.
Been Chaz Green out for the year, Andre DeBose, Matt Rowland, and Jeff Driscoll.
Wow.
Could be their fifth guy.
Well, we'll check up on it. We'll take a break, come back. I'll talk about the Book of Manning and about Archie Manning, who you need to know about. What a special player he was. Although he played with the Saints, he played with a team called Ole Miss before that. And just watching the film last night of Archie Manning reminded me what a great player he was. He should have been a Heisman winner, but fate was in store for him. We'll take a break. We'll turn to Buddy Sports Page after the timeout on
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source. Tom James, it's Friday night again. Time for the Marion County Friday Night High School Game of the Week, brought to you by the McDonald Agency. Two teams going in two different directions.
0-4 Westport looking for a strong defense to match against double tough 3-1 Leesburg.
That's right, Tom James. Looks like a game on paper that Leesburg should win easily.
We'll see. Friday night, 7 o'clock pregame, 7:30 kickoff.
Right here on the Marion County Friday Night High School Game of the Week, presented by the McDonald Allstate Agency.
WOCA, The Source.
Since 1976, Daniel L. Hightower, a lawyer, has been fighting for accident victim justice in North Central Florida and statewide. He believes everyone in America should follow the rules, including the insurance companies. He and his firm have experience fighting for victims of personal injury, wrongful death, workers' compensation, and Social Security disability, as well as serving those in need of help with bankruptcy, simple wills, and estate plans. The mission at the law offices of Daniel L. Hightower, PA, is to represent deserving clients and recover the maximum benefits they are entitled to by law in a timely manner. In personal injury and workers' compensation cases, there are no fees or costs unless a recovery is made. The law office of Daniel L. Hightower is located at 7 East Silver Springs Boulevard, Suite 300. For your free consultation, call 352-629-7777 or 1-888-LAW-1976 and visit danhightower.com for more information. Daniel L. Hightower, PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice, and the proud sponsor of Ask the Cops.
Dr. Seaborn Hunt, a board-certified ophthalmologist in Ocala, offers advanced cataract surgery with laser astigmatism correction to reduce and potentially eliminate your dependence on glasses for both distance and near vision and some areas in between. If you have cataracts or need a second opinion to discuss your lens implant options and determine if you're a candidate for precision multifocal lens implant, call Dr. Hunt's office to set up an appointment to see if you qualify for the upgraded lens. Call Dr. Seaborn Hunt's office today for an appointment. 873-7200. That's 873-7200.
Hi, this is Tom Schmitz, the host of Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA. The Saturday Sports Page is your weekend destination for everything sports, from NASCAR to golf, baseball to boxing, and of course the best, most comprehensive football coverage on the radio. Also, you don't want to miss my weekly Are You Kidding Me rant? So join me and JJ LaSalva every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA, The Source.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Frederick's Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Frederick's Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Frederick's Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Frederick's Appliance.
Keep up with what's going on in the downtown area with Ocala Downtown Newspaper. Delivering thousands of newspapers to businesses in the downtown area, Ocala Downtown is there to keep you informed. They even have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about it. It's simple. For more info, just call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223, and pick up your copy of the Downtown Ocala newspaper today.
Now read Ocala Downtown Newspaper online.
Ugh, what wrong?
Ugh, need wood for fire.
Ugh, I go get. Ugh, I got wood for fire.
Ugh, what takes so long?
Had to use restroom. Someone not refill toilet paper.
Ugh, my bad. You wash hands?
Ugh, of course. Ugh, what caveman you take me for?
You know, Dan, people who save money by switching to Mike Scott Plumbing sure are happy.
Well, Brittany, how happy are they?
Happier than a caveman with indoor plumbing.
Yep. Get happy. Get Mike Scott Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it. 237-2888.
Stay informed on everything going on in the villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown Newspaper online.
We're back on the Voice of Ocala, Buddy's Sports Page. We got some breaking news we're trying to run down, but Buddy, back to the life of Manning. You know, we know a lot about Eli and we know a lot about Peyton, but Archie Manning, the patriarch of the family, he was the first great quarterback of the family.
Yeah, and by the way, you're like breaking news is that we've not totally confirmed it, but almost totally confirmed it because Mark Long of the AP has posted it easily.
He'll be on with us about 2 minutes.
Yeah, he'll be on with us, and he's said it on his that he quoted Dominic Easy as saying that pretty much he's done. The generic quote was, "God has other plans for me." So, and we know he tweaked his knee. We're going to get to the bottom of that and let you Gator fans know. And boy, that's a big one. Okay, I want to talk about the book of Manning. You know, it occurred to me that none of us, and I've forgotten just how good a quarterback Archie Manning was. He was a terrific quarterback at Ole Miss, not only with his arm but with his legs. The guy was elusive. He could really, really run and evade people. And there was a great film last night, old film on that in the book of Manning. And I love the home videos of the kids playing in the front yard, the backyard. You know, and contrary to what people think about Archie, he didn't push his sons. In fact, he wouldn't let them play till they're 7 or 8, and then he threw the ball around in the yard. And he didn't really, and he also made a point, the family did, including his wife, who said that Archie came home and often we couldn't tell if the Saints won or lost. He would go out in the backyard and play with his boys. And he said he really tried to not be about football. So it wasn't like Archie had to mold his sons into his image. And I think the good point was made by Austin, who during the break, about each one of these guys had something to overcome, and that Cooper Manning was an excellent wide receiver and played with Peyton at the local high school. Peyton was 2 years younger. Had a great year, and he went to Ole Miss. And, of course, his father had gone to Ole Miss. And Cooper found out he had a spinal stenosis and had an operation and never played at Ole Miss. The next up was Peyton, who was the number one quarterback in the country. Everybody just knew he was going to go to Ole Miss, but Archie said, I'm not going to tell him where to go. He needs to go where it's best for him. And lo and behold, Peyton shocked the world by going to Tennessee. And in the end, Archie defended his son, saying it was a great move for him. He had to do what was best for him. Then along comes Eli. What's Eli going to do? Eli, of course, who had the burden of playing for a father who was an All-American, a brother who was an All-American, had to come up and play, and he chooses to go to Ole Miss. And then Archie says, I worried about him because could he live up to this? And lo and behold, it was a good story about how they started playing football, and it turned out to be a wonderful, warm story about a family, and something I really enjoyed watching. If you haven't had a chance, they'll replay it. I think maybe the family was healed up a little bit by Eli going to Ole Miss. My wife couldn't get over the fact that he decided to go to that Peyton didn't go to Ole Miss. But Archie never pushed his boys into football. It's a good life story, one you'll enjoy. Be sure to watch the Book of Manning. I highly recommend it.
It's playing again on ESPN2 in like 3 days.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to go to Gainesville now? Yes. All right, we're going to go to Gainesville now for a breaking news story. The intrepid reporter for the Associated Press, who always seems to be first for these things. Is it true, Mark Long of the AP, that Dominic Easley is through with football at Florida?
Well, it's a question, buddy, of whether you believe the tweak or whether you believe the tweet. Because in this instance, Urban Meyer. Yeah. In this instance, Will Muschamp is saying he tweaked his knee, and then Dominic Easley comes out and puts this tweet out that basically says, thanks for 4 years, Gator Nation. God has something else planned for me right now. So it's basically him saying, hey, I'm done. I'm out. I'm done. Blew out my knee, and I'm moving on. And that's how everybody is reading into this tweet. So, this is really a case of who do you believe here. Most people are probably going to believe the player because, Muschamp did indicate that they were waiting for tests to confirm everything, and Muschamp talked before Easley tweeted. So, you got all those indications. My problem with this whole story is Florida, Muschamp, somebody somewhere should come out and clarify this thing one way or another. Obviously, the coach has said one thing, the coach actually said he will be fine earlier today.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then the player comes out and says, nope, I'm out for the year. Yeah. So, somewhere you'd think there would be some clarification from the school, from Muschamp, from somebody saying, hey, here's the reality of it. It happened yesterday. The test came back and it looks like it's an ACL or whatever. But my guess is I'm gonna believe. I've been lied to, just like you, buddy. I've been in this business long enough to know that, you get lied to by coaches all the time. I get it. I understand it. You get lied to by players, too. But nowadays, I tend to side with the players over the coaches.
Yeah. Well, I can't say what a horrible thing it is for this football team and for Dominic Easley, who's going to have a great career on Sundays. But you're exactly right. I said the same thing. The tweet this morning from the coach says he'll be fine. He tweaked his knee. And then we hear this quote, which you put on you retweeted it from Easley, and you think, where's the disconnect here? And the answer to your question about why nobody comes out and tells you the truth? Because they don't have to.
Right. And again, is Dominic Easley a big part of the defense? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Is he the reason they're going to win or lose it at Kentucky? I don't think so. Probably not. But he's absolutely a huge component of this team. And, maybe if it was LSU or maybe if it was Georgia or Florida State, maybe then I could see the coach, maybe hemming and hawing a little bit and trying to keep it under wraps until after the game or whatever. But in this case, it's Kentucky. You've won 26 in a row there. If he's out for the season, he's out for the season and move on. But again, what you said is Dominic Easley is absolutely a huge loss. Maybe the one guy on defense they couldn't afford to lose. He's the heart and soul of that defense, kind of a great motor guy, great pick-me-up to teammates. He's a senior guy who's been around. So from that standpoint, huge loss. And, again, defensive tackle is not a position where they have a ton of depth. They got Leon Orr and they got Damian Jacobs in there who have kind of, shared some reps with them. They got a JUCO guy and Darius Cummings. But after that, they really have nothing.
And just one final thought, Mark. Appreciate you sharing time with us on this busy day. But it's possible, and I'm going to leave the door open for this. It's possible that maybe that Dominic got the news and was displeased and got emotional and decided to say that without knowing the full, story of the knee. But coming down to the two of them, because of track record and pass, I'm like you. You believe the player, you believe the coach. I believe the player.
Yeah. And, it's something to be, you start to wonder now. You look at this team, if he is indeed out for the season, that's the fifth player out for the season. And I think all of them are leg or knee or whatever. And you just start to wonder, what are they doing in Gainesville that, that this thing you're talking about.
Or is it just a freak?
Yeah. But Andre DeBoers was a knee. Matt Rowland was Matt Rowland was a knee. Chaz Green was I think his was a labrum.
Wow.
And now Dominic Easley.
You have to wonder if their knees are wearing out. Well, I'll just leave it with this. David Pollack, who's a fairly knowledgeable man on ESPN, as you know, tweeted, I think this morning, that he thought Dominic Easley was the single most important guy on any defense in America, college defense. So that's how valuable he was. So
yeah, I believe that.
Mark, thank you so much. Appreciate it, my friend. Mark Long, associate.
Buddy.
Appreciate it. All right, you're on the scene right there, covering the story. And we'll be having more to it with Edgar Thompson of the Orlando Sentinel, who'll give us his take on things and what he knows at this point in time. Breaking story, Dominic Easley believed to be out for the season. That means the rest of his career is over at Florida. A huge loss for Will Muschamp. We'll take a break. Come back. We expect to talk to Edgar Thompson. Maybe we'll talk about Edgar about the quarterback situation. Whether or not Tyler Murphy can make the big, now more pressure, Tom, than ever.
Huge.
Tyler Murphy has to step up and get the offense is going to have to contribute something, because now it's clear the defense is just not going to be as good as it was no matter what without Dominic Easley.
The Gators are losing players like flies. The Falcons are getting crushed by the Dolphins. I'm ready for the NBA to start.
Well, it's about to. We'll take a break. Come back, talk more about the situation in Gainesville after the timeout on
13,
go ahead.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Dry, itchy, scaly skin? Do you have psoriasis? Consider joining our research study. Renstar Medical Research in Ocala is conducting a research study evaluating the effectiveness of investigational combination of two study medications for moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. You may qualify if you're between the ages of 18 and 75 and have been diagnosed with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis for at least 6 months. For more information, please call Renstar in Ocala at 352-629-5800. Qualified participants may receive study-related medical care and study medication. Compensation for time and travel may also be provided. To find out more information about this psoriasis study, please call Renstar Medical Research at 352-629-5800. That's 352-629-5800. Renstar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today.
Your home for Florida State football all season long. WOCA, The Source. Getting a head start in learning to read is more important now than ever for our young children. The Reading Pals program of Marion County pairs up reading mentors with struggling kindergartners and helps them get up to speed in their most important years. But they need volunteers. If you'd like to be a Reading Pal, call Jan Hathaway at the United Way at 732-9696. That's 732-9696. Be a Reading Pal today.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, CEO of Gateway Bank, inviting you to drop by our main office on Silver Springs Boulevard every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for the Community Gazette, a 3-hour show focusing on our favorite community to live and work, Ocala, Marion County. Come join us with the voice of Ocala, Buddy Martin, in the new old-fashioned bank radio studio as we discuss a variety of interesting topics on the Community Gazette on WOCA The Source.
On the next day on Ocala Live, Robin and I will be speaking to New York Times best-selling author Carla Neggers. Her new book is called Declan's Cross.
Dr. Gregory Saranian is an orthopedic surgeon and a patient safety advocate. He is going to be speaking about how to communicate with your orthopedic surgeon to help ensure a successful surgery.
And then we put news back in News Talk. When we do News Bites, these are the hottest news items right off the press, and we deliver them to you bite-sized.
Join the veterans in our community on Veterans News with Hank Whittier.
Roger Gilmore will be on at 10:05. He'll be in the studio. He's the executive director of Covenant Children's Home, providing all of the stable elements of a traditional family for children who are in need of a place to call home.
Kip Snyder is a beerologist. He'll be giving us an introduction to beer.
And then Nicholas Gutierrez is coming on. He's an attorney, the volunteer state chairman of the Florida Energy Forum, and he's coming out to speak about the pros and cons of the Keystone XL pipeline. All of that plus Fun with Joe on the next AM Ocala Live right here on The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM.
1370 AM.
Now is the time to take advantage of Florida Credit Union's CD specials. Our 36-month CD comes in at 1.26% APY. A 24-month is working for you at 1.0% APY. And our 12-month at 0.75% APY. All CD rate specials require $10,000 minimum. With friendly service and low rates like these, it's not hard to see why Florida Credit Union has your CD options covered. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Call 352-237-8222 for more information.
Legally Yours, brought to you by Fuller & Fuller Attorneys at Law. On the air every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. with John Fuller, a board-certified civil trial lawyer for over 25 years. John welcomes your questions, from business to complex family matters to legal disputes. So tune in every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. for Legally Yours with John Fuller, right here on WOCA 1370 a.m. and 96.3 FM, The Source.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
Welcome back to Buddy Sports Page. A breaking story out of Gainesville. Believe that Dominic Easley may be done at the University of Florida. That story not confirmed by anybody from the university, but this morning the head coach saying that it was only a tweak to the defensive tackle and he should be fine. Now word coming out that, according to Mark Long of the Associated Press, that Easley had tweeted that God has other plans, and he appreciates all the support. Sounds very much like a guy who's done, and that's the story of the hour in Gainesville. And one guy I'm sure who's on that, tracking it, is Edgar Thompson of the Orlando Sentinel, who joins us now. Edgar, how are you?
Yeah, hey, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. What's going on with this story about Dominic Easley?
Well, it's changed even since what you reported, because I spoke to his father 2 hours ago, who says, don't assume anything just yet. Now, granted, this is his father who wants the best outcome possible for his son, who's vaulted up NFL draft boards this past month. I mean, Dominic Easley came back to Florida to help improve his draft stock and also to get his degree, he said, because his family really wanted him to do that. But this kid's gone from being maybe a third or fourth round pick last year if he'd come out to a first round pick. He's really wowed everyone with his performance through 3 games. In fact, I think he's been a lot easier to notice, which isn't always easy for a defensive tackle, caught up in all the maw, than Sharif Floyd was early in the season last year. So it would be a huge loss for him personally and for the Gators defense. So his father's statement probably is trying to have an optimistic outlook, but his dad said he spoke to his son this morning and that it is not a season-ending injury that they knew of at that point. But that was also hours ago.
Just don't know what's going on there. And like I was talking to one of your colleagues, Mark Long, and he said, do you believe the coach or do you believe the player and do you believe the dad? I mean, they all may think they have the right information, but Dominic Easley being lost to this team would be a big blow, to tell you that. Aside from Jadeveon Clowney, the most celebrated defensive lineman in the country, and a team that relies on defense like Florida does right now, especially with a brand new quarterback, it's a huge blow to this team. What I am wondering, and I'm sure you are too, is the disconnect with the information, why everybody has a different story.
Well, I will say in Will Muschamp's defense from this morning, at 11:20, when he spoke in the teleconference, the SEC weekly teleconference, they may not have fully determined the extent of the injury.
True.
And these coaches, I can't stand the militaristic, terminology thrown around with football and sports. That's been a real sticking point with people over the years.
Right.
But these guys do look at these guys like a soldier sometimes. Like, get back out there, man. Yeah. I mean, it's still, it's not, your knee still works. So they definitely, and the players, that's the way their mentality too. I mean, these are different characters than we are. Yeah. And they're just wired differently. So just well, what I'm saying is they're probably hoping for the best.
Exactly.
Maybe it's only a slight tear of the MCL, and maybe it's a meniscus tear and not a total ACL reconstruction coming.
Yeah, let's role play this out for a minute. I can see this scenario happening. That Easley tweaks the knee yesterday. He thinks it's going to be just an overnight thing. He's told to go have the test the next day. The trainers are saying it looks like it's going to be okay, but we'll know after we do the test. And that Easley, expecting he will go in and say, you'll be all right, you'll be able to play Saturday. But when he gets into the news is not as good. I'm making this up. They see a little bit of a tear, which could be, could hurt him playing. It could jeopardize his future. And he's got to decide, what do I do? And meanwhile, his coach doesn't want to say anything because he doesn't want to make a decision on that. He wants to wait and see, thinking that maybe if he rehabs it, he might get past it and might be able to play. Meanwhile, let's say a highly tuned athlete, one who has worked like Easley has worked, gets all this big build-up for this season, and suddenly is totally demolished, emotionally demolished by the news he might be out for the season, and just goes ahead and said, I'm done. Now, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's scenarios abounding. And when I'm speaking to his father at 3:15 today, and he says that don't count him out yet, that it's, what are his exact quotes? Let me grab them.
Let me have his father's exact quotes. I'd like to have those.
He said, yeah, I'm sorry to
That's all right. By the way, while we're waiting, let's tell everybody, we're talking to Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel. And for those just tuning in, with breaking news story, one report that looks like Dominic Easley could be lost for the season. That's not been confirmed by the University of Florida. That's an interpretation of a tweet made by Easley. But closer to the source, Edgar has talked to the father of Dominic Easley. And it seems to be a great deal of uncertainty about this injury, whether it's going to finish him up at the season and put him out for the rest of the year in his career at Florida. So that's what we're talking about, getting the quotes from the father. Edgar, what did he say?
Don't assume anything just yet was one of them. He said, I don't know about season ending. We still don't know, referring to the injury. And at the end, though, he concludes, I'm trying to stay away from that state of mind, him being my son-in-law, which is telling because he wants to stay positive.
Sure.
Muschamp's trying to stay positive this morning. And maybe they weren't, when they spoke to Dominique at 11 or 10 or whatever, now here we are 5, maybe they know he's out. I will say this, the school did release information on Andre DeBose blowing out his ACL. It had been referenced in an earlier press conference that Tuesday of preseason camp. It was the first Tuesday of preseason camp. it happened, and we spoke to Brent Pease, the offensive coordinator, that Wednesday. He mentioned it, and by day's end, we were told that the ACL had been torn, and that was that. So they haven't released anything yet. Now, they like to release things on the school website and Twitter account, so monitor those because that's where the news will come from first, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But they, here we are, almost 6 o'clock. They haven't said anything.
Yep.
So I'm starting to feel like this may at least go through the night at this point.
Yep.
Fortunately for Dominic, but if he is out, I wish they would just let us know and kind of quell
Yep.
all the rumors and all that.
Well, like I said earlier to Mark.
People have tweeted he's out for the year with an ACL. I mean,
Yeah.
some people have tweeted that.
Yeah, and by the way, the reason they don't, like I said to Mark earlier, is because they don't have to. University of Florida is not going to tell you about the injuries. They don't tell you anything, and I guess it's their prerogative. But it causes all kind of speculation to rage because you don't know the facts. And based on what we know, that's all we can talk about is, as you said, the facts we have. The father says, don't be so sure yet. I don't know. The tweet makes it sound like it's pretty final when he said that God has other plans for me. What can that mean? Doesn't mean he's moving.
It could mean he's out for a while.
Doesn't mean he's moving to offense or something. It's definitely something bad has happened to him.
Well, he's injured. I mean,
Yes.
I don't think anyone's disputing the fact that he's injured. His father's certainly not disputing that. I think his father's saying, don't assume he's out for the year. It may not be season ending. And, maybe the bend in the road or the whatever is a 4 week. He's not back. He's out till the Georgia game, let's say. That and that would hurt them. I mean, LSU is going to be a brutal game. They may not win that even if Dominic Easley's in there. So let's say he's out till the Georgia game. That'd be, they could live with that, I guess.
Yeah.
This kid does not want to have to rehab an ACL.
Oh, I'm sure.
And not be ready for the combine.
I got
this
you.
Kid is going
It's his whole futures we're talking about here, not just a couple of games. And he is as important as it may be to Gator fans. All right, let's move real quick to the and thanks for taking the time on deadline. And anytime if you have to go, let me know. But just a couple of real quick questions. Given this changes the tenor of all the questions now, it's bad enough that Driscoll went down. Although some people think it's good that Tyler Murphy got the chance. He has certainly looked better than most people thought he would. I, for one, think he might be a better fit in many ways, although not as good a player. I'm confident he can probably play good enough to keep them from giving games away, which Driscoll wasn't doing. So I'm sorry for Jeff Driscoll for getting hurt and losing his job. But the bottom line is, does this put this Easley story, if in fact he's done, now what does it do to the pressure and Brent Pease and the offense? They got to step up, don't they?
They probably need to score a little bit more against the better teams. 16 points, like as the Gators scored at Miami, won't get it done against better teams. That's not going to work at LSU. LSU is throwing for 400 a game right now. I don't know that anything will work at LSU, honestly. That Alabama LSU, this Georgia LSU game is
It'll be
great.
I love LSU. They just pound you. They pound you. They got those tailbacks in there, and boy, they are good. And
but their quarterback's throwing for 400 a week.
I know,
right
but
now.
Mettenberger, I love Mettenberger, but you know what? Go back and look at the film. I'll watch that Auburn game. Les Miles tends to get real close to the vest in the second half. And, they let Auburn almost get back in it at one point in time. And by the way, Auburn's quarterback, Nick Marshall, ain't bad. He looks pretty good to me. But
I mean, Malzahn is a terrific coach.
He is.
Offensive coach. Terrific.
Yeah.
But the offense is going to have to perform better. You make a very fair point that Tyler Murphy might minimize mistakes. I certainly wasn't seeing a ton of playmaking out of Jeff Driscoll. Mm-hmm. And Tyler might be as good an option right now, and he certainly has confidence, which is something Jeff didn't seem to have.
I'm rooting for Tyler Murphy. I really am. I loved your story. By the way, you wrote that story, and you can comment on it. I'll let you go after this. Is that Steve Spurrier is watching the game over in Crescent Beach, and he's watching the Florida game, and he watches Tyler Murphy, and he says in his press conference phoner that the most impressive player of the weekend was Tyler Murphy. How about that?
Yeah, it's probably hyperbole a bit. However, he plays for Florida, and Steve Spurrier loves Florida. He's even said today he roots for Florida whenever his team isn't, other than his team.
And he does.
Yeah, so, Tyler Murphy's a great story. I spoke to his high school coach on Sunday. I mean, this is a kid who did not get any scholarship offers, barely. First offer from UConn, he's from Connecticut, to play safety. And he ended up coming down here and put in his dues, 3 years on the scout team, basically.
Yeah.
And now here he is lining up for his first start on Saturday in
How about
Kentucky.
that? It's a good story.
So it's a hell of a story,
It's really
and
good.
he's a nice young man. And, it's going to be a tough task ahead of him. The running game is going to definitely need to improve. And I think he does have a couple more playmakers. Solomon Patton has certainly been a pleasant surprise. But, it all hinges on how well this defense plays. And bringing it full circle,
Exactly.
without Dominic Easley, this defense will still be good. But with him, it had potential to be great.
Not good enough. Edgar Thompson, great stuff, man. Really appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me.
All right, my
All right,
friend.
man.
Talk to you soon. Edgar Thompson Sentinel. That's right there from the horse's mouth. On top of it today, gentlemen. Good job, JJ, of digging that story out.
That's just crazy. That could be a huge blow to Florida's overall. Vegas now 6.5 is the over/under.
Really? Yeah. And by the way, I know we're all guessing here to some degree, and at some point you have to make evaluations. Just based on what I know now, there's no question that he's going to sit for a few games and maybe all of them.
Right.
And that's just my opinion.
I went
It's
to
not-
Dominic
not
Easley's
fact.
Twitter account,
Yeah.
and I read the Twitters,
Yeah.
the tweets he's been putting out. Not an optimistic day on Dominic
Anything
Easley's
else
part.
to do on that?
No.
It's going to come down to him either wanting surgery early so he can
get ready for the NFL,
ready for the draft, or not, and play a couple games.
I think that's what it's coming down
That's a good
to.
point, because maybe he wants to go ahead and have it done now, and maybe the coach wants him to play. And he
Exactly.
says, no, I'm going to get ready for the combines. I'm going to go ahead and have it now.
That's what I think it really
good
is
point,
gonna come
JJ.
down to.
And he may look. I'm a Gator fan, and I want the Gators to do win some football games. But if it comes down to this young man getting ready for the NFL or playing a couple games to help Florida win, but jeopardizing his chance to make a living afterwards, I'm not real sure I wouldn't come down on the side to have the surgery early and get ready for the NFL.
We're talking millions of dollars here. Millions.
Yeah.
It's a tough call.
Which he's not getting in college, by the way.
Yeah.
No? I thought they were all getting paid.
There's millions and billions of dollars being made, but Dominic Easley ain't getting none of it.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a break, come back, more to come, finish up right here on Buddy Sports Page.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Hi, this is Buddy Martin. I want to tell you about a conversation I had recently with General Manager Pat Murray on the great family atmosphere at Country Club of Ocala.
It's a family-first club. Again, we have any number of different types of memberships, but obviously the one that attracts the greatest level of interest is our family. And the reason for that is we have a little bit of something for everybody. I mean, we obviously have a world-class golf course. We have 7 tennis courts here for all levels of tennis players. We have a junior Olympic-sized swimming pool. We have a fitness center that's second to none, and we have state-of-the-art equipment in our fitness center.
Country Club of Ocala, where the facilities are all a family would ever need. For more information, call today at 352-237-6644. That's 352-237-6644. Country Club of Ocala, proud sponsor of Monday's Gator Report and Gator Talk Thursday right here on The Source.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase process a fixed rate allowance.
Yahoo! Kids are back in school and report cards are right around the corner. I've got old cars shaking in their boots because I'm flunking clunkers and junkers this month.
Hey, Professor Chris Spears from Prestige Auto Sales. What's a smart plan to keep you from flunking out in a car that can't make the grade?
This week, trade in and save more. Get the appraised value of your old car plus up to $4,500 off a nicer, newer car.
Stuck in bad credit detention? Our For the People credit approval process wants to help everyone, even if you've been turned down before.
I vow that no car will be left behind.
Visit Prestige Auto Sales today.
Yes, during our old car report card event, you'll get up to $4,500 off a nicer, newer car plus the appraised value of your old car. But hurry, my old car report card event ends September 30th or after we've helped 67 students pass the test in a nicer, newer car. My name is Chris Spears, and I'm a dealer for the people.
Visit Prestige Auto Sales in Ocala or Bellevue or call 694-1234. See you at Prestige.
Call me crazy. Some people say insanity is doing the same thing over and over expecting a different result. I think insanity is 1,000 single-sided full-color business cards for $15 or packing service for 50% off. Call me crazy. Regency Printing on the corner of Northeast 25th Avenue and 24th Street, 789-6683. That's 789-6683. Look for the yellow signs.
Howdy,
folks. RL here to invite you to Dairy Queen for a great new meal. Dairy Queen's now serving 3 different $5 meals. Hot dogs with chili, cheese, slaw, whatever. Quarter pound with cheese, loaded up any way you like it. Solid filet chicken tenders. And each meal comes with fries, a drink, and a sundae for only $5. You got that right. Nobody beats that deal. A great value and a great meal. So come on down to Dairy Queen at Silver Springs, where they always treat you like kings and queens.
This is a public notice. Local residents can now save thousands of dollars on their next car, truck, or SUV. It's not a tent sale, because no tent is big enough to hold this many cars. It's ocalaforsale.com. Say goodbye to sticker shock. Ocalaforsale.com has thousands of vehicles with no stickers at all. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to ocalaforsale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge, undercutting, less proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
News Talk 1370, WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults, so use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000, 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370, WOCA.
Who called himself down? We're in the next room at the hoedown. A rocky burst in and grinning a grin. He said,
It is on Wednesday. What's the date? September 20 what? 6th, 5th. The day we'll remember a couple of words, Dominic Easley and Collywobbles.
And D.B. Cooper.
D.B. Cooper. Different story. Collywobbles.
Collywobbles, D.B. Cooper, and Dominic Easley.
How about those?
Day.
It's a bizarre day, and that's a bizarre story, and this is how these breaking things come on you like this. These stories, we're still waiting for confirmation. I don't expect it tonight.
No.
Yeah, but who knows? I think they're all hoping that some good medical miracle will take place with Dominic Easley's knee, which by all accounts was more than a tweak. And we'll see.
By all accounts, Will Muschamp still said it's a tweak.
That's an old tweet, I think.
Right, but not all. You said by all accounts. Will Muschamp still sticking by it.
Yeah, well, all accounts since this afternoon. And so we'll see.
If I'm Will Muschamp right now, I'm just crying myself to sleep.
Absolutely, absolutely. You cannot overstate what a loss this is for this team.
And that's a huge story, but a story that shows you media creates stories. ESPN's run a whole story on a squabble in the NBA.
Well, people love those kind of stories.
Dwayne Wade, Kevin Durant, and James Harden are all trading tweets over why the other one should be ranked higher than the other two in the great ones in basketball right now. And ESPN has written a whole story on tweets sent between these three guys and why they're better than the other two.
Well, one of them's Dwayne Wade, and he needs to shut up because he's not better than nobody in the NBA.
See Tony Kornheiser's tweet about him?
No.
I'm over him. I'm done with him. I don't want to hear him anymore. I'm tired of Dwayne
Wade.
Yeah.
Wow, what did he do to Mr. Tony?
I don't know. Mr. Tony is very unhappy.
Dwayne Wade's in his twilight of his career thinking he's still, the kid that played with Shaq.
Back to the story on Easley, though. That's the breaking story of the hour. I'm going to ask you guys a question. Think about it. I think I know what the answer is going to be. Jeff Driscoll, starting quarterback, goes down with a knee on Saturday. Dominic Easley, if this proves to be season ending, goes out today, which is the bigger loss?
I think it's easy to say Easley because he's a better player, but I think on defense, Florida has a lot of great players, and so it's not going to hurt them that bad. I think that Driscoll, he did make a lot of mistakes the first few games, but I still think Murphy's going to get exposed, and Driscoll is the better quarterback at the end of the day.
The problem with
more important position.
That's very good points. Except for Dominic Easley, is the motor that makes that defense run.
Right.
He's the high intensity guy. He's the guy that gets everybody up on that defense. He's the heart and soul of that defense. And to lose that, You can't replace that. There are great players all over that defense, but you can't replace the heart and soul, the motor of the defense, and that's what Dominic Easley is.
And it's not like the offense was a well-oiled machine going in the game.
Very good point.
The defenses were holding the Gators in the game, so I think it's Easley's a bigger loss only because it seemed like we couldn't get any worse with Driscoll.
Well, by all accounts, it has to be easy. But I'll say this, JJ makes a good point. As great a player as Easley is, and they game plan around him, by the way. They game plan just like they do on Jadeveon Clowney. Game plan, and one guy can dominate, but as great as he is, you can cover him up a little bit. And you can blitz your linebacker, Antonio Morrison or whatever. You can make up for that.
Yeah, he's a tackle. He's not an end.
If your quarterback is playing bad or whatever, and if he's that important to you, you're going to be exposed, like you say. I'm going to wait and see, JJ. I have a feeling you may not be right about this kid Murphy. I know he's not going to be able to throw the deep ball 60 yards down the field. I just think this offense that Brent Peace has was the system management quarterback. So that's my take on that. I want to thank our guest today, the Mayor Kent Gwynn, joined us a little bit early. Dave Cope was in. We'll have him back again. Mark Long, the AP, and Edgar Thompson, Orlando Sentinel. Breaking news, possibly lost for the season, Dominic Easley. My broadcast partner, Tom Schmitz, for JJ LaSalva, and Austin Statman. I'm Buddy Martin. Have a great evening, everybody.
Tom James, it's Friday night again. Time for the Marion County Friday Night High School Game of the Week, brought to you by the McDonald Agency. Two teams going in two different directions.
0-4 Westport looking for a strong defense to match against